Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go live. Peace. Side door locked. Damn, what's up?
Everything
How
good?
are you? Yeah, man.
You here by yourself? Oh shit, that's who it is.
Keith.
What's up? What are you talking about? You got the same crew.
How are you?
You must be alright. You got the same crew.
Oh, yeah.
You know where you know it from.
He said I must be all right. We got the same crew.
What's up, Sam?
Wow, so you're actually wrapped up. Oh, wow. And it's all red and everything.
Thank you. Oh, what? I don't know. I had massage today. I did therapy, so I knew, after therapy, you gotta do the little ice it down.
See, that's for everybody that thinks there's that, not a serious injury.
People are foolish.
Yeah, right?
Like we don't like making seven-figure paychecks.
I know.
Like we don't like making seven-figure paychecks. Oh,
Man, it's all quiet in here. Where's the heavyweight?
Oh, no, man. People, it's quiet, man. This is we still in off season. There ain't no scheduled contracts, none going down. I'm just gonna bounce around, jiggle the fat off a little bit today. Try to, you know what I mean? Sitting a little too big, we've been sitting a little too comfortable.
What do you think you're weighing?
Kind of know, but I don't like to omit numbers right now. I say only God knows. You know, he knows. I just had a protein shake, so that might have added a pound.
One protein shake.
That protein shake might have just added a pound, but I'm gonna blame it all on that. Nah, we heavy, man. We heavy, but we're gonna be able to bring it down, man. Cardio, man.
What's that? There is the Jacob's ladder. That's what puts it down.
Not made weight.
Never.
Yeah.
From amateur to pro, never. Believe that. Dedicated to the game. You ain't taking my money for free. I'll make my weight, 147. And crazy thing is, I competed my freshman year of high school. I was a 141 pounder. So I'm competing 6 pounds over my freshman year weight. And I'm about to be 29 this month. So, as you know. But I tell you, man, I tell people, when it comes to making weight, 147, boom, I probably weigh 147 like within 2-3 hours or some of the weigh-ins. Then I weigh it on the scale, then I never see that number ever again until my next fight. I don't see 147. We don't hang out at 147.
So just
I could, you know what I mean? Even when I was an amateur, I competed at 152 because they took away 147. Otherwise, I would have gladly made that weight, But at 152, at the start of my pro career, we start off at 152 and we worked our way down to 147. And we just do what the contract says, baby.
That's for everyone who thinks that Errol Spence is the bigger man. Because you fought Andre and everything in the amateurs at a higher weight than what you're fighting at now.
Yeah, 152 we competed at the Olympics. That fight's on YouTube. I saw that.
Yeah, I seen it.
Me and Andrade. I was like, oh.
One morning I ran into it and I text Dan, like, man, I just saw that fight.
It's a throwback, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at my no jab having self. I did not know how to throw a jab in the amateurs. Like, you watch all 4 rounds of that event, man. I mean, I was not jabbing, man. I was just worried with that point system. He had them quick hands. He had the defense. You know what I mean? He had me at that time, man. He just boxing wise, he had me. But when but hold up, you in the building? Where we at? Where we at?
He's on the wall.
Where we at? He on the wall somewhere.
Showed it, so I think it's down more to this side.
He on the wall somewhere. Oh, no, I don't see it today. I don't know, but we got that W. The first time we ever met, we got that W on him. You know what I mean? He knows. He tried to go toe to toe like Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard versus versus Durant. Leonard Durant, He should have just boxed him, you know. When Andrade went toe-to-toe with Keith Thurman first time they met, he got that L. 3 fights later, he got 3 W's. He got smart on your boy. I was still just trying to drop them bombs.
He's a middleweight now.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Andrade.
160.
He's at 160.
He just beat Alontes Fox at 160, and it looks like he's gonna have a deal with HBO.
Nice.
And they've been buying, so to say,
middleweights.
160-pound fighters. They just signed Jacobs to a 6-year deal. Daniel Jacobs.
6-fight deal. 6-fight.
6-fight deal. And who else? There's one other middleweight they're invested in.
Obviously, Billy Joe
Canelo.
Saunders, David Lemieux is on
David
HBO
Lemieux
as well.
Billy Joe Saunders also is going to be on HBO this coming.
I mean, he got the hype for it. You know what I mean? When anybody ever talks about moving up in weight class, to be honest, I don't care if you're like a 135-pounder trying to be 140. I don't care what it is, right? When I hear about somebody moving up, what I wonder is, do they have the hype, right? Because there's these little skinny dudes at 135 or whatnot, and they'll move up to 140, 147, right? Like Crawford's coming up, right? But he has height, he has reach, he has something to keep him in the fight and not have that big disadvantage that a normal smaller guy from his weight class would, moving up 1-2 weight classes. You know what I'm saying? So you know, and I know Boo Boo very well, man. You know, when it comes to his power, I say it's not the craziest in the world, right? But it's respectable. Like, you know, anybody, like I say, Luis Collazo, I didn't drop him, you know, cut, whatever. It wasn't a headbutt, but I'm not gonna get into all that, you know. But at the end of the day, he knew what those punches felt like that he was taking. He didn't go down, but he knows what it felt like. And as a fighter, when Boo Boo hits you, you know, you ain't trying to get hit by that all day.
Yeah.
It's true respectable power to where in the back of your head, you know, I'm not really gonna just walk through that. Like, people think they're gonna walk through that.
His last fight, he made Alontes Fox maybe throw like 8 punches.
Yeah, one-sided.
Like every 3 rounds.
And he a grown man now too, man. He be getting stronger, going up in weight. His you know, he's always had a good team, but I don't know his team too closely. But I'm pretty sure he's doing his thing, man, and staying that athlete, man. That boy's always been an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you, man, you can beat Keith Thurman, you a bad man, because I'm a bad man.
Do you feel more confident now? Like,
I mean, I know the sport so much better, man. You know, 21 years in the game. I know the sport so much better than I used to, you know? Like, I used to wonder, when I was a kid growing up, I used to wonder, like, damn, how is Winky so calm, though, right? Like, why is he so calm, though, right? I'm in there, like, I'm trying to move around, not get hit by the jab. Doesn't fucking matter, I get hit by the jab, right? It's Winky's jab, you know what I'm saying? In his prime. Like, you getting caught, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how is he so calm? Like, is it really just because he's a pro and I'm an amateur, you know? But a little bit, yeah. You know, when you become like a 10-round fighter, it starts at 8 rounds. You know what I mean? You get a little bit into distance fighting. You know what I mean? Then 10, then 12. You know, you just really like we're gonna be here. This fight ain't over in 3 rounds. This fight ain't over in 4 rounds. It's not over in 5, 6 rounds. This fight, we're gonna be here. You know what I mean? And you really just get comfortable being in the ring with anybody boxing you, this guy trying to brawl you, this guy trying to do that, and Winky just with his stand-up defense he had, being able to block his head and his body at the same time type stuff, you know what I mean? He was just calm, cool, collective, man, you know? But it's just that, I call it marinated, right? Because everybody knows, you know, champions aren't made overnight. Nobody can just come off the streets, learn to throw hands, you get knocked out your whole block. I don't care what you done did. You know what I mean? You're not gonna come into the sport, Conor McGregor found out, no matter what you've done. You're not gonna come into our sport and really show us up. Like boxing is unique in the fight game. You know what I mean? It's unique. And then a lot of the fundamentals, it just, like I said, when you marinate, you just sit on it, you know? You learn the jab, you learn the right hand, this, that. For me, I learned how to fight moving forward first, right? For years, I was just a move forward fighter. Then I transitioned. My coach taught me how to transfer my body weight from my front foot and my back foot, and then off this movement at the right time, boom, we can set up some counters. You know what I mean? So I was probably 14. I started at 7. I was probably 14. Somewhere slowly, he probably started trying to introduce it to me. Somewhere from 12 to 14, but I really started understanding counterpunching more when I was like 13, 14 years old, you know. But he might have dropped the little innuendo on me at about 12 years old, you know. And then, shoot, watched the Andrade fight, watched my last amateur performance, no jab. I didn't focus on the jab till after I was pro. Until I was pro, you know. I got on footwork after 1 year of being pro. I sparred this, what was Matt, coach? Is he Russian? Matt. Yeah. He's Russian? He's a Russian Olympian. Russian Olympian, right? Matt Kovalov or whatever. He used to be with Top Rank.
Korobov.
Yeah, Matt Korobov, yeah.
Was supposed to fight for the WBO.
And Andy Lee, I think, knocked him out in it.
Yeah, man. I mean, he didn't get managed well throughout his career, man. But when he first came from the amateur game, man, yo, his hands were nice. You know what I mean? And he had this little footwork. He had this little hop to him. I tried to outbox him the first time we ever sparred. I'm like, he's an Olympian. Can I outbox this Olympian kid? Blah, blah, blah.
And you sparred him where?
Right here, boy.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
What made him come here?
He was working with Dan for a short time early on in his professional career. You know what I mean? And he outboxed me, man. You know what I mean? He kind of, you know, I heard he beat Jacobs in the amateurs at the world tournament or something, man. You know, I mean, the kid had skills. So I was like, all right, you know, I sparred him again. Practically same, almost, you know, maybe did a little better, but practically the same. He just knew what he was doing in there, and he was a southpaw. But then the third time we sparred, I wasn't in the same kind of shape. He was getting ready for a fight. I just got back in the gym, better shape than I'm getting back in the gym right now. But because I was already doing some things. So I get in there though, they're like, you want to spar him? Of course I'm not going to say no, right? But this was when Margarito was popular, right? Margarito, and I said, look, I don't got time to try to box this kid. He done outboxed me twice now. And I don't have the legs for it, right? I said, bump it. It's Margarito time. It's Margarito day. You know what I mean?
How old were you then?
I could have been 20.
Did you already have your HBO debut?
Nah.
No, okay. Nah, so before you were 17 and 0?
No, it was like 1 year after being pro. I turned pro.
Oh, wow.
I turned pro. My first pro fight, I was 18, but 2 weeks later, I was turning 19. So I would say I turned pro at 19. You know what I mean? I was probably 20. I know I had a good year of being a pro under my belt. He was just starting out as a pro, just 2 fights probably. You know what I mean? We had him at the get, you know? So, but worked with him, showed me that my feet could be a little bit nicer. If his feet are nicer than me, then my feet can be a little bit nicer, man. And the third time sparring, man, we got into a verbal fight because he was claiming I was hitting him in the back, right? But he's a southpaw, and he turned and he gave me the cleanest body shot I could take. So I took that. Like I said, it was Margarito day. I was pressing them that day. I was just walking them down, hands up, like a pro, just ready to take it because, you know, they don't really go all out in sparring, you know? There's like, I don't know if it's, you know, how Lomachenko and certain European camps and other people, they won't do all out, like technical, go through the motion kind of sparring, you know? So I knew I could just, you know, we can kind of go through the motion, but you in St. Pete, bro, we can go through the motion, but when there's a real one, when there's an opportunity to get popped, I'm gonna pop you and you get that respect and things like that. So when I landed this super clean body shot, he was like, oh, you hit me in my back. And he used to tell me that after sparring every once in a while. And I'm like, yo, I'm going at the body. I'm trying to land a legal blow. I ain't trying to hit you in the back. My bad if I'm doing it. So this ain't the first time I heard him say it. So I was just tired of hearing that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what you gonna do though, bro? What you gonna do that day that real one hitting you in the back? You're gonna be like, ref, my back. Like, come on, man. And I didn't hit you in the back. That shit was clean, you know? And man, we just started a fight up in here, man. And he just got out of the ring and stopped sparring and everything. And it was dramatic. It had repercussions. It's Ben was pissed.
Did he not come back after that?
No, we stopped training at the same time together. We stopped training at the same time together. Yeah, man. It was a drama-filled day, you know what I mean? But dude, I took my mouthpiece out, right? I told him, I said, you can hit me wherever the fuck you want, son. Hit me where the fuck you want, cause I ain't gonna complain. I ain't no bitch. And I said, you don't know where the fuck you is, son. You in St. Pete, boy. You in St. Pete. You know what I mean? I mean, it was testosterone-filled day, man. I mean, you know, one of them gym days, what you would call like the doghouse. You know what I mean? I mean, every gym has its moments, you know. But that day, that's just what went down, man. But you know, we got a lot of history here, man. We got a lot of history in this gym.
Speaking of, which one of your fights now are Keith Thurman's best performance?
Best performance? You know, I don't know.
Because I was watching that Garcia performance back. I hate to bring it up. I know the camp is going to hate me because we got a close relationship. But, man, I sent them a link. Like, someone did, like, slow down.
Some highlights and
Whoa.
stuff. I mean,
it was good, man. You did some really good work. He was trying a lot to go to your body, too. So I actually wanted to know. He did land some. And, obviously, people thought Collazo and you were vulnerable. How were, you know, those shots? But... wow, so you did a lot of good things in that fight. Nah. You were fighting off
like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
A lot of counter punches, too.
A lot of counter punches. It actually was a funny thing. When I recap it myself, I was like, man, me and him were too ego-based in that fight. When from round one, you could watch us throw bombs at each other, right? And Danny ain't one to normally duck. Like, he knew to duck from me, you know what I mean? I'm swinging big, he's swinging big, and we both ducking each other, popping up, ducking each other, popping up, and I'm like, you know, we're too eager. We want the big shot, and we both see that we're skilled enough to see when someone's trying to knock you out. They right in front of your face, and you can see they're trying to knock you out. You know what I mean? So what you gonna do? Not let them knock you out, you know what I mean? So, you know, Danny's got a lot of experience, and that's what I got to, I knew that, but I've never been in the ring with him. I've known him since we were kids, you know what I mean? I've never been able to be in the ring with him. He always competed one weight class below me. As a pro, he always competed one weight class below me till he finally got into my weight class and I had the opportunity to go toe to toe with him, you know what I mean? And, but you know, he was really calm, he was really patient, you know? And then obviously I put him on his back foot after slapping him in round one, you know? And round one, like just boom, landing a big shot. And he has that on his mind. He had to carry that on his mind throughout the whole fight. My boy said he was timid. He didn't want to let his hands go. And he said he didn't want to get countered at the post conference. He said he didn't want to get countered, you know? Because regardless of if he says, Matisse hits harder than me, right? And my boy's like, that can't be true. And I said, it might not be true, but it can be true to him because Matisse could have hit him with a clean shot that was harder than any clean shot that I hit him with in the fight. So out of his mouth, that's a true statement. Doesn't matter if I crack harder. I didn't crack him harder, so he ain't verbally gonna express Keith Thurman got that thunder and lightning like that. Matisse hit me with something better. That's real.
And Matisse has that highlight mouthpiece. So Danny probably felt that particular shot.
And that was more of a brawl too. That they were hitting each other more often than your fight.
But Danny hit me with one body shot. Only a few people peeped this one because it's hard to even see. It's like the 11th round or something. It's the last. It's on the bell. He hit me right before the bell, and it's right in the solar plex. I didn't know. I didn't know what kind of punch I thought was coming, but I didn't think it was gonna be where it ended up. It ended up right in my solar plex. And it just was flush. And I folded over just for a second. The bell went ding, and I'm holding my breath, and I'm like, and I'm just walking straight to my corner like, you're gonna recover on this one, you know, but you know, I would have been able to handle that at 30 seconds on the clock, whatever. But it was one where for a second, that one I felt the most. Any of the ones from the side or whatever, they were just regular body shots. You know, Collazo caught me so flush, so perfect, and he had his weight into it. That's why I remind people, my name one time, you know, one time is boxing. One time can happen to anybody. You know what I mean? Knockouts are all about that one punch, you know. You trying to one time me, I'm trying to one time you, but I am known to have these heavy hands, so you know I can do it. You know what I mean? So that makes the fighters a little bit more timid, a little bit more focused. You know, even when I fought Guerrero, you know, I felt like he was really focused in there. You know, even after I caught him and stuff, like he, you know, ain't nobody trying to get knocked out. I even tell amateurs when they get in there, do you think the dude you fighting, you think he wants to get hit? No. Do you want to get hit? No. So how y'all gonna hit each other? You know what I mean? How you gonna hit each other? You know, I mean, that's when you get in, you know, tell them set up their stuff, set up their punches, blah, 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 work at the right moments, be smart, yada, 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 you know what I mean? And trick them if you can. You know, make them miss, make them pay, certain things like that, you know. But I got a lot more respect for Danny after being in the ring with him. He's a heavy-handed fighter. He's still flat-footed, still slow-handed, you know. But, you know, ring knowledge, real experience. From the amateurs to the pros, I mean, he's just real calm in there. Like I said, like that wink stuff, you know what I mean? Danny had a real calm presence because he was trying to counterpunch me. But he wasn't just trying to counterpunch me and land and score like Floyd's gonna point counterpunch people. Danny's trying to counterpunch knock somebody out. He's trying to counterpunch hurt you, you know. And because of that, he's loading up too much on it. So I should have stutter stepped a little bit more, feinted and stuff. But I knew my movement. What I was doing was confusing him. I could see in his eyes that, you know, he just really didn't know how to attack me. He didn't know how to attack me. I think that's why he didn't get so aggressive, and he was worried about being countering too. But with my movement, I really felt like he didn't know how to attack me, you know?
Two-part question, simply so I won't forget, is since we're on the Danny subject, he put out this Instagram of him like throwing 60 punches in 7 seconds, and it's some sort of challenge. And it says, why was I never on the pound for pound? Or someone said, why is he never on the pound for pound? And he's under 30, and he's accomplished all that he's accomplished. Do you feel, now that you've shared the ring with him, that he, A, deserved maybe in the past, or 2, be on the pound for pound present? And out of the two men, Porter and Danny, who do you feel deserves the rematch with you? Because both of them claim they deserve an immediate rematch.
Oh, they're both claiming it now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well,
Danny,
Porter,
I felt like Porter wanted it from day one.
Yeah.
You know, we know that. Porter wanted it as soon as the loss was announced. You know, he wanted that rematch that night practically, you know. So I knew that was going to be real. But, you know, I mean, you know, I think Porter, you know, I think the Porter fight was a more exciting fight. I think Porter was more of a challenge, you know, just because he brought it. With Danny, I got to pretty much do what I wanted to do, fight at the pace that I wanted to fight at. And just, you know, and just box smart, you know. With Shawn, it started off exactly how I wanted it to go, but then I let him carry a little bit too much momentum, he got back in the fight by around the 8th round. I mean, it practically was a draw. It's hard not to see how close the fight is, you know, even past way midpoint of the fight. So I just had to buckle down and tell myself, do what you need to do, win on these scorecards, get this W. You know, you had a 12-round fight, but 8 rounds after, now you're in a 4-round fight. You know what I mean? So if you want to win tonight, you're going to win in 4 rounds. So that's what I had to tell myself. I had to buckle down and just get that W and box smart, you know. But I mean, it was critical, because if I didn't do what I needed to do, Shawn showed up today to take that W. You know what I mean? I don't feel that the same way with the Garcia fight. We never were worried about the scorecards. We felt like we were handling everything perfectly fine and well, you know. I mean, I know I slowed down a little bit throughout the fight and things like that, but I didn't feel like, you know, I didn't feel threatened.
Would you rather rematch?
Wait. As far as Garcia believing or feeling he should have been on pound for pound sometime throughout his career?
You know, maybe sometime throughout his career, you know. I mean, he did accomplish a lot at 140, and then he got the belt at 147. So I'd say after beating Robert Guerrero, maybe he belonged at the bottom level of pound for pound. But you know what? It's hard. You know what happens a little bit is sometimes you need to stand out to get on that pound for pound list. You know what I mean? You know, because even these smaller guys, when they stand out, they're on pound for pound. You know, because they know, like, this is a little dude, but he stands out. If he was bigger, you know, and that's how they get on the pound for pound list. But yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you know. I mean, to me, no matter what, it's not a real ranking. The only thing people really care about is pound for pound #1, because he's like practically almost the guy of the world. Like when Floyd was pound for pound #1, everybody knew the why, you know, everybody knew why, and he held it down for so long, you know. But that's how I feel. Pound for pound list ain't not a real ranking, you know what I mean? So it just is what it is.
So you're leaning to Porter deserving the
rematch, yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody knows.
What's a bigger
everybody
rematch
knows
for
they
you,
should.
though?
The bigger rematch is them two fighting each other, and then the winner fight me. That's the bigger rematch because it's
But you know, if you go that route, the public is gonna say, well, then they're fighting each other. You fight Earl.
Well, I don't care what anybody's saying about anything besides, I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do in New York. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get back as an athlete, right? Like I don't know, man. I don't want to put y'all through freaking history class, and I don't want to whine about all the injuries I've been through. No.
I feel that you need a tune-up before you get straight into the any fight.
I've been sat down for a minute. I accomplished a lot. I am at my prime, but I'm on the bench. As an athlete, how if you were an athlete, how would you come off the bench? That's how you got to ask yourself. So, yeah, man. I mean, that fight's here, so it'll be there. You know what I mean? I ain't worried about things that I know is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel that's bigger?
We can make it happen at any time. This is another thing too, man. If he can say whatever, I can say whatever, we all can say whatever, especially everybody at home on their computers, you know what I'm saying? They can say anything that they want, you know what I mean? But these fights certain fights have been offered to me, certain fights have never been offered to me. I know Lamont gained that world title, but I've never been issued a contract with Lamont's name as a possible opponent, you know what I mean? A lot of times you always have at least 2 opponents, except for when I was setting up some big fights, I was really geared on Shawn and I was geared on Danny. You know what I mean? There was no actual other people. You know what I mean? And we're trying to do that, but while we're coming off of the bench, we're gonna have to look at the open field. We're gonna have to pick an opponent. You know what I mean? And get off the bench, get moving right, and then most likely, Shawn holds the mandatory for the WBC, right? When people talk about the WBA, they forget I got the super, right? Which holds no mandatories. This is the same loophole that Floyd did so that they never had to talk about me and Floyd. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? That's what at the end of the day, when I talk boxing, when I talk media, I'll talk politics, you know what I mean? But I'll stay real. You want to say what this is and what that is and who's mandatory or what else. I hold 2 world titles, but only one sanctioning body will ever uphold a mandatory upon me, which is the WBC, which currently is Shawn Porter. So I am pretty sure I'm gonna have to acknowledge that in the near future.
Next year?
Of course, yeah. Okay. Shawn, we don't know the severity of him hurting his hand, but we all are to some degree aware that he has a hand injury. Depending on the rehab, whatever they do, whatever the doctors recommend, and how long his overall recovery is, you know what I mean? He says he's ready to go, right? I had a car accident. I still took Shawn right after. Maybe he's ready for a Keith Thurman fight. But during that time, I would like to get my tune-up in. Then if he's ready to go and I'm good to go, then we can knock out that. Then after that, I'm back, I'm ready, and then we can negotiate any other.
Which would be Errol Spence, right? That would be the fight after Shawn. Would be Errol Spence, right? That's what you've alluded to. The public has alluded to. I mean, that's the next big fight for you.
That's the next unification bout, right? The question is, when are we going to unify again? When are more than one title going to come together again? You know what I mean? And the thing is, because we don't predict so many fights ahead, we don't set up contracts. That's why when people are saying demanding this, demanding that, you know what I mean? You got to go with the flow of the boxing world, and we know that. Who really thought 5 years ago Floyd and Conor McGregor were gonna fight or anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you go
a year ago.
A year ago they were hyping it up, but
even that year, no one thought it would happen.
Yeah, no one really thought it would happen. You got to go with the flow. You know what I mean? You got to go with the flow. Even as a boxer, my whole career, I've been going with the flow, one fight at a time. Especially early on, you got people they replace like that week. You like, all right. Now I'm fighting. I was fighting this dude from Cali. Now it's this dude from Texas. Or now I'm fighting this dude from Tijuana. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you just get it in. You got to go with the flow. That's boxing, So I always say that Miss Cleo, and everybody wants to predict. Miss Cleo, everybody wants to predict, man, but it's not easy.
But Errol is in a similar situation, and I don't want to make it about him. So whenever you feel like dropping it, it's all good. But you were at a point where you said my focus was only on Shawn and Danny, so those are the only names that you were giving out. And now he has a similar statement where he says, I told Al I only want top 5 welterweights. So there's only a few left. With Lamont on his resume now, or on the agenda, only you guys are left. So he's either gonna have to sit out and wait, or I don't know.
Nah, man. I mean, we can make fights happen. It's just a matter of when it happens, when they really get negotiated.
And it's only 2 times a year. This time, I'm like for your, guys on your level.
Yeah, and I would actually, I would love to have just a one time, ironically, one time, especially to make up for everything, a 3-fight year for myself. You know what I mean? But we're gonna have to stay injury free. We're gonna have to have some real good camps, and to be real, we're gonna have to get back. We're gonna have to cut them rounds short. We get some knockouts. We can get back in camp a little quicker. We can put our body through less drama, and we might be able to pump out some more fights when we're healthy again like that. So I would like to, but yeah, our real goal is to manifest a minimum of 2 fights next year. But I would like to make something happen, especially with a tune-up. I don't know what kind of tune-up or small challenge or respectable opponent I'm gonna end up coming across, because we still focusing on this, just getting back in here, man. Just being able to hit that bag again. So we'll see, man.
So it depends how the elbow actually feels when you're landing and things like that?
Yeah, being able, as long as it can take impact, then we're good. It needs to be able to take impact.
So have you been holding off on talking to Al about next opponent until you 100% again?
First, most likely, who knows? I get to see my doctor in 2 days, and I had my therapy this morning, and it feels better each and every day. Still a little sore. We're gonna pump out some PRP. Who know what PRP is, and hopefully come around nice, man. I mean, I'm really hoping to recover soon. It's been resting for a long time, but not being in the United States, not working with my rehab team and everything, we just haven't been moving it and getting it to do what it needs to do. It's starting to open up, unlock. I mean, so athletic drama, bro. It's athletic drama. I never thought I would be in this situation, but I remember when they're like, you guys go through injuries, this, that. You should think about the future. Make sure you do your stretching, all that stuff.
Do you want to stop so you could? Because I don't want to keep it away.
For certain animals, certain weight depending.
Oh yeah, they don't eat cow.
What is it? Punjabi, Gujarati. Those are the different. Different languages that they speak out there, different,
Oh yeah, probably, I mean, what is that? Is that India? Is that India? Yeah, no, this is Nepal. It's another small country in between India and China. Very small country with it. Trapped up.
And how'd you end up there?
Yeah,
because that's her family, that's her people's. We met in Japan. We met on vacation after the Shawn Porter fight, right? We met in Japan, right? But my wife is from Nepal. Her whole family is from Nepal. So after the Garcia fight, I actually flew. It didn't take, within a week of the Garcia fight, I flew to Japan to see her. She was my girl at the time. And then I proposed to her after the Garcia fight, right? Then I spent 1 month in Japan with her. I met her father and her mother there in Japan. I didn't meet her uncle till I was in Nepal, but her uncle lives in Japan. Her uncle has restaurants in Japan. Her father manages one of the restaurants. That's how her whole family moved to Japan. Her uncle has restaurants in Japan and Nepal. He's going back and forth every year, all the time, going back and forth, But
so it was basically like a love at first sight then, because you said you met her after the Danny fight.
yeah, it was almost theatrical, like, man. It was almost like, it was almost like some Hollywood movie shit, man. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But she's just such a good girl, man. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not young, man. I'm dated around and stuff. I know my type. You educated enough to know, your type. Somebody's like, yo, look at that. Yeah, but not mine. Not for me, dog. It's a nice piece, what I mean? Not for me, what I mean? I know my type, and it's not just like physically, but I know my type mentally. I know my type mentally, man. She's just my type of girl, man. I fell in love quick, man. 100, quick. I'm a lover and a fighter. That's my problem. I'm a lover and a fighter. You know, that's my problem.
How did you visit the mountain?
So how'd the actual talking go down? Because is she like full-blown Indian in religion and everything?
Nepal, so she's Nepalese. But you know, I mean, she speaks English. She speaks English, Japanese.
So
Hindi.
like a normal pickup, you seen her in the street, you just talk to her?
She was working the bar that night. She was a bartender.
Okay.
She was a bartender. So I walked right up to the bar. Me and my boy, we already had these girls with us. They followed us. We didn't invite them. I was mad at the motherfucker. Then she wanna tell me to get her a drink. I said, look, you can go sit down, and I'm gonna go talk to this pretty girl at the bar right here.
Wait a minute. At least did the girl who asked you to get her a drink, did she know you were Keith one-time Thurman?
No, this is my first night in Japan. Nobody know who I was.
Oh, shit.
I love whenever
you like it better that way?
When I'm in Jamaica, when I'm anywhere, like no, you don't know who I am. If you don't watch boxing, there's like a few people in Japan who spotted me, this, that. One American dude, he saw me on an escalator going down. He's going up, and he's going down. I'm going up. I'm wrong direction. And he's just like, yo. Yeah.
It be like that.
Champ. And then like as we're passing, like I give him that. Then he runs down and comes up and he's like, yo, let me take a flick, man. Let me take a flick. And he said he just saw on my gram that I was in Tokyo that time. I'm pretty sure this was after the Garcia fight right before I proposed. But yeah, man, I mean, it's interesting, man. You know, boxing people, no matter what, man. When I was in Nepal, I was coming out of, I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but the stupa or something, I don't know, a temple place, right? A temple place, right? Mm-hmm. And there was these two twins, almost your height, right? These twin brothers, right? And they're like, excuse me, you Keith Thurman? And I'm like, yeah, they're like, yo, we got this boxing gym out here, this, that, we watched your Garcia fight, you know, great fight, this and that, man. So just boxing people, you know, that's what people forget is that boxing really is a worldwide sport. I'm champion of the world. Boxing is a sport known to practically every country in the world, man, you know. So, you know, in America, we got so many different sports. Boxing's not as popular, but I mean, you know, you see the Anthony Joshua fights, you see all these other fights, you see what happened in Australia, man. I mean, people love boxing, man. It's old, it's old school. That's what MMA, people like that. The Japanese motherfucker, they just like all fighting. They like entertainment. They like to have a good time, man. They, you know, when it comes to sumo and all the different, they got the K1 fighting, they got the UFC fighting, they'll do anything out there. The boxing, they got some champions, they got some world champions. Japan, you know? So it's interesting, man.
You brought up Anthony Joshua. Is that something that you would ever actually?
I want him next.
No. Is that
Anthony
something?
Joshua, you know what I mean? Yeah, I want him next. I brought him up, right? Yeah.
No. I mean, filling up a stadium like that. Is that something that you would actually push your team to try and do one day? Or are you just interested in the big fight? It doesn't, you know, the stadium doesn't matter.
You know, stadiums like that come from other countries. You know what I mean? You need a foreign champion. You know, to be honest, that's.
So you don't think it could be done in America?
What stadium are we talking about filling? Well, you want?
Well, I mean, look.
You want to fill Dallas? Dallas? What are you talking about?
Come on, Matt. You know the sport.
Do you think you can like potentially not fill up the entire stadium at Dallas, but fill up a good percentage of it with Errol Spence?
There has to be a stadium here.
But see, I don't know, man. See, this is what I'm saying. Like,
if it's built up properly.
It's different when you go to Europe and stuff, man. I mean, they just want to come out, drink, spend money. They just want to do it.
Economy.
You know what I mean? And they just love fights. You know, they just love fights. You know, here. You know, I mean, it's just gotta be, it probably would just have to be the right fight, but I just feel like when you have that international boom, and it just sells out, boom.
Like,
two champions from two different parts of the world in this big old arena, you know what I'm saying?
Nations involved.
Do you think Canelo Triple G could sell out Dallas?
Who?
Canelo Triple G, rematch.
See, the first fight was more exciting. I don't know. But because of the crowd, because of Canelo, it's possible. You know what I mean? Like Canelo,
What do you do? 40? He think
a great fight against Canelo in Dallas. You know what I mean? That is something to possibly do. But I don't know. They got other stadiums too, man. I mean, at the end of the day, to be honest, viewership to me is more important than heads in the building. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and I'm gonna be real honest too. I've never cared about nothing, the day of the fight, except for what the fuck I'm doing here. This little thing, you know what I mean? So actually, like all this business and stuff, actually there's two things. This is what Ben Getty said, right? As long as the check don't bounce. You know what I mean? Then we Gucci, baby. We Gucci. I'm gonna do my job right here. Everybody can come out, have a good time, cheer for me, boo for me, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Have fun. You know? Cause I'm out here, I'm having fun, man. You came to watch me work. This is my office, boy. You know what I'm saying? You came to watch me work. You know, you don't like that I'm moving around, motherfucker? Come here and motherfucker move around. I'm outboxing this boy right now. Learn something. You know what I'm saying? Yell at Danny. Tell him to throw more punches or some shit. You know? I mean, it's funny, man. You know, I've been doing this my whole life, man. When I reflect, it's just interesting. When you really, you start something as a kid and you just keep doing it. You keep building upon it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like you're at an elder statesman level in your sport now? Like you and your generation are now getting to that level where you're the Mayweathers and the Pacquiaos of 5 years ago, 8 years ago?
You know, it's funny, man, because, you know, right before Mayweather, you know, because Mayweather had an opportunity to fight Oscar De La Hoya. You had Sugar Ray, you know.
The passing the torch fights.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you just had so many different fighters, man. There's always that next generation. And I've been saying that my people's, the whole Adrien Broner, Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter, all these fighters, Deontay Wilder, all these kids, all these dudes, man, you know, we're that next generation. What, when I first was on HBO or something, I was like 23, 24 years old or something, I don't know, you know, something, you know, 4 years back, 24 years old probably. So, you know, I mean, that's just how it is. That's boxing. You know, there's always that new group, that new class, but we here. We got skills. We're gonna be at the top. You want us to fight each other to see who is out of the top, you know, who really is that king, that one that really holds it down, you know? But to me, when you guys say, oh, fight him, you're not just talking about a fight. At the end of the day, you're talking about my career. The way I lay out my fights, that's gonna be my legacy, you know? And bottom line, Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, I can put anybody in the middle and you shouldn't complain no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Who puts back-to-back that? Normally people are doing Shawn Porter, middle fight, maybe some other fight, big fight, or Shawn Porter, middle fight, big fight. You know what I mean? I did big fight, little fight, off of injury. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't listen to whatever is really being put out, man. I do my job. That's why I got here. I do my job, you know? Like when they say fighters are scared and all this stuff, you know. I mean, certain people can be, but not me. Come on, baby, you know me. I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me. But I'm not gonna talk about fights that I've never seen contracts for. You know what I mean? And plus, people wanna push things on you when, I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, there might be moments where people do need to be strategic. You know what I mean? If Marcos Maidana never pulled out of the fight with me on HBO, then he wouldn't have fought who he ended up fighting, knocking out. Then he fought another Latino person.
Oh, Jesse.
When he first fought me, he fought I think Laura or somebody. He fought somebody. Or Cross. He fought Cross. Didn't he fight Cross?
Yes.
He fought Cross.
And Josecito Lopez, too.
And then after he fought Josecito Lopez, then he fought Adrien Broner, then he fought Mayweather, and now he's never fought ever again. With that kind of management, you know what I mean, and that pathway, and the victory of the Broner fight, because it wasn't a gimme fight, you know what I mean, he came and brought it, and you know, Broner had whatever camp he had, band camp instead of training camp. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
That was a fight you wanted. I was at that fight when you beat Jesus Soto Carras, and your post fight to me was, I want Broner next, but then he lost that night. Are you at least?
I wanted the champions. That was the problem. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. When these kids aren't champions, they're calling me out now. Like when Paulie was like, you know, I know what you feel, Keith. I know what you feel like being that young dude, hungry. It's real. It's the sport of boxing, man. When you don't have it, you know, hammer. When people talk about, oh man, his team, they were, you know, talking a lot of trash and stuff, you know, because they wanted it. You know what I mean? And then they didn't get it, you know. I mean, and that's just reality, you know. I mean, and I wish the boy could have at least fought it out, but the punch he took was too clean, too big, and had him down and out. You know what I mean? I mean, he had the will to fight. The boy was trying to get up. You know what I mean? That's how you know a real fighter. You know what I mean? He wasn't Victor Ortiz in there. You know what I mean? You know, but
Can he bounce back from something like that?
of course he's young. He's young. Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut. You know what I mean? A loss doesn't define you. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali doesn't. A loss doesn't define you. You define you.
Well, isn't it
But
the manner of the
problem-
loss?
It depends. If none of that defines you, what you call it? Manny Pacquiao,
Very true.
5-minute sleeper. He's still Manny Pacquiao. So, you know, and that's what people forget. But the real problem is it takes time and you have to recover from it. He's young. We expect him to recover from it, which means he needs to bounce back. He don't need to fight the top dude, but he needs to do something, get back eventually when they're ready to get back and just take it easy, hold their position. He's young. You never know when an opportunity is going to manifest for you to become champion of the world. What about when Paulie Malignaggi got the title at 147? The belt was overseas. Paulie said,
defeated Sinchenko.
I'll go fight that dude. Paulie said, I'll move up a weight class and go fight him. Became champion of the world again. You never know when opportunities are going to manifest. That's why I say you got to go with the flow. Fight after fight after fight. Broner was supposed to win. He didn't win. He lost. Look who's fighting Mayweather. Maidana. You know what I mean? So much. You know what I mean? You know, okay, this guy's at the top, this guy's at the top. But in the meanwhile, through the business of boxing, the way boxing really works, you kind of just got to go with the flow. Crawford's about to be in the situation. What does that do? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, do you think he ever?
Let's ask these boys on ESPN. You know, Crawford's 147. You know, he's got Spence and Thurman. You know, they barely like talking about me, but they talk about me. You know what I mean? You know, they think, this is Spence. No, Crawford. Thurman. You know, y'all are just happy right now. That's all. Y'all just a bunch of happy ass boxing fans. That 147 is stacked. You know, I can't be mad at y'all, man. I'm happy too, man, because all that means is money for me. You know what I mean? Competition too. You know, that's one thing I want to talk about, man. As a real athlete, right? You can have whatever kind of persona you want, but as a real athlete, deep down, there's a part of you that just loves competition. You know what I mean? So when they're critiquing us athletes, it's like, y'all forget, like, we're the ones who like this shit. We signed up to box. You know what I mean? We signed up to box. We signed up to do this. You know, and I signed up from an early age, man. I mean, that's why I say, if you can beat me, beat me. I really don't care, you know? I mean, I sat back, and, you know, I'm just bouncing around the ring. What you gonna do? There was plenty of opportunities. Throw combination, motherfucker. Do what you want to do. I'm here to box. That's what I'm saying. I can weather the storm, you know? I showed Shawn that. And next time we get in the ring, it ain't gonna be the same thing. And he ain't gonna be able to do nothing pretty on the outside. He ain't no pretty back foot fighter, outside fighter. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even watch his last fight. The story that I heard is he didn't look that good. You know, he ain't looking, you know. You want to do the same thing, people are going to know how to handle that eventually, you know. But
Jeff Horn calling you
Oh yeah, Jeff Horn called you out.
Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that?
WB.
Man, first off,
Yeah, WB.
man, that boy ain't nothing. That boy's so sloppy. He came in shape, you know what I mean? He came in shape, he fought a good fight. He got his W. People have multiple different opinions about it. I can care less because I'm not in the ring. You know what I mean? I pull myself out of a lot of fights. If I ain't in the fight, they can knock each other out. No KO. I don't care what happens in the fight if I'm not in the fight, you know? But as far as overall skills and footwork and how he fought a smaller dude and he thinks he's something at 140, you know, I mean, or 147, I mean, he looks like he's got a good size. The way he looked bigger than Pacquiao, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know Pacquiao's a small dude, but it looks like he's got a good size for a welterweight. But his overall, you know, experience just ain't really that. I don't even know his amateur, pro. I mean, I really don't know who shit is. You know what I mean? He's decent. He's good at whatever. He'll show us. He'll show us. But that Pacquiao, see, what I really don't like about Pacquiao, one is his age, right? But two, is what people forget is that who's not competitive with Manny Pacquiao? You know what I mean? Like, how many people are not competitive with Manny Pacquiao? When you fight, if you're really ready to fight, you know what I mean? You give Pacquiao a fight. He's always been like that. People that aren't scared of Pacquiao been able to go toe-to-toe with Pacquiao since he was a lightweight motherfucker, you know? So, to me, having competitive fights and you beat someone who had, what, 6 losses on his record before he came on and saw you or something? Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that as an accomplishment. You beat a legend. You did what you did do. You got a victory over a legend. Congratulations. But if I'm going to say that you really accomplished anything when that legend's 38 years old and, you know, just don't really got it in them no more, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You want to come and fight a young dude, it's going to be a whole nother story. You know what I mean? Whoa. Actually a welterweight who got some power. You know what I mean? How you going to talk trash? Your face was painted after that fight. You know what I'm saying? Your face was painted. You know, I don't know if they got it over in Australia, but we got something called Red Lobster, boy. You was looking a whole nother color on your face. So we ain't worried about that boy at all, man. You know, like I said, we ain't worried about nothing. We just trying to get back. We just trying to get back. That's all we really trying to do. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna jiggle this fat off today, boy. We're gonna just bounce around, get in motion, you know? Because physics, once in motion, you stay in motion. That's what camp's all about, you know? Week after week after week, grinding it. You see my auntie here, boy, she be pushing me. Every week I feel myself getting stronger. I run longer, I run faster, harder. I do more sit-ups, I do more push-ups. Every week I'm on regimen, man, you know? So
still doing a lot of band work too?
Band work is essential, man. It's gonna be, you know, it's important for my recovery to gain strength back here with my tricep and certain little ligaments and tendons and stuff. Band work is real important.
Those push-ups and sit-ups, how many are those? Like, is it daily, or you try to get a weekly amount of weekly reps?
Way more sit-ups than push-ups. Yeah, way more sit-ups than push-ups. Only like a few sets of push-ups a day. I maybe 3 sets of push-ups. But man, I mean, I'm doing sit-ups for like forever, man. Sometimes there were days where I'm pretty sure I did like 1,000 sit-ups. Pretty sure, you know. There were days where I knew I did 700, you know. So, I mean, it was a lot of sit-ups, man. A lot of core work, you know. You know, when you know people gonna try to hit your body now, you know what I mean? You gotta do them sit-ups, you know what I'm saying? They want to get your body, oh, we're gonna get Thurman's body. All right, cool.
They counting on the body shots, huh?
Like it's a button you can press. Woo-hoo, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I tell people, a body shot does one of 2 things. It does absolutely nothing, or it hurts like a motherfucker. Because that's it. It's either nothing, or when it hits you, there's an effect that you cannot show. You can't deny it. You know what I mean? When a real body shot hits you and it's hard enough, it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? No matter how hard you hit someone to the body, they're not getting knocked out. So they literally just experience physical pain. Just watch body shot knockouts on YouTube and watch how many people watch their face you know, or they're like this and they're looking at the ref and they're like, yeah, and they're trying to get, and they're like, you know, face down, then get up, you know. I had someone, I hit someone with a body shot. It was a left hook to the head, and he blocked high, and he kept his elbow high. So I went head body instead of body head. I went head body. It sounded like somebody hit him with a baseball bat. It was on the undercard of who was about to fight? Devin Alexander. It was on the undercard of Devin Alexander and Marcos Maidana. Devin Alexander outboxed the shit out of Maidana that night. I was on the undercard. I was just getting back into the ring, and I got that knockout. Boom, dude hit the floor, crawled to the ropes, pulled himself up on the ropes, got into the corner, was just breathing like this. The ref was like, "You want to fight?" He's just like, "Nope." You know, I mean, that's what happens at that stage. You know, you fight people who can't take it. Then you get to the upper stages where all of a sudden, you know, people can take bigger, better shots. And they have better defense, better endurance. You know what I mean? Endurance is a big thing, man, for all them wannabe champions out there. You know what I mean? Endurance is a big thing. You know, the last thing you need to do is have the skills, but not have the endurance to win the fight. You know, so I always have my endurance on point, man, because I don't like that being the excuse for my victory or lack of victory. You know what I'm saying? And if we fighting Shawn, you best believe we're gonna up it even more, because we know how that boy be. We know how that boy be. You know, him and his daddy. You know how they be, dog.
Pressure,
They be in that.
Yeah, he did. That's his pivot. He loves his pivot.
Headbutt.
Oh!
There was a lot of headbutts this last fight.
I didn't
with the
even watch it.
Granados?
I didn't watch it. I just know I was in the ring with him. I know his moves, dog. Headbutt, hold.
Dude, I remember the gashes on your back that fight.
From the
Yo.
ropes.
Man.
Oh my God.
I was
Crazy thing is I didn't feel none of that till after the fight. And I go to the hotel room, and my boy's like, "Champ!" And he gives me, big dude like he's 6 foot something. Boom! He just slaps me, gives me a big hug, slaps me on my back. I'm like, motherfucker. That was the first time I realized something was wrong. I said, motherfucker, what you trying to do? Put me through round 13? I said, what you trying to do? I was already in a 12-round fight. And then we took the shirt off in the hotel room. We took a picture, put it on the snap. What? Put on the gram. That's what we did. Put on the gram. But yo, that was something. That was something.
It tells how much pressure that he puts on the person in order for you to because this has fabric on it.
I know.
They start cutting on you.
Well, it's also from sliding out too.
It's from sliding out. It is.
Yeah.
It's from being gripped up and then trying to.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's burning.
During the fight, adrenaline, you don't feel it.
It's high, so you on killer instinct mode.
Get a paper cut on your back, or take this Shawn Porter bullshit. Okay, what do you think? You know, and take these paper cuts. You know, I think Shawn, playing more center of the ring. You know, there were times in certain rounds of the fight I wasn't on the ropes. There are other rounds I was on the ropes. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of doing more of that, doing more of what's better for me and not good for him, and not letting him get that position. You know. And then the easiest way to stop the boy is to hold him, but I don't like to hold. But he just so forward. He smothers you, so anybody can wrap him up. You know. Anybody can wrap him up. Right.
Yeah, so you call him when you can.
Watching a little bit of Lomachenko stuff, you know what I mean? And man, he's such like a touchy fighter, you know? He's just touchy. He's touchy. Man, he just relaxed. He just like, all right, hands up. I'm walking towards you. Touch. What's up? Hey, touch. Touch. Hey. And then he'll just sit down for like a split second on a few punches every once in a while, just for a split second. Otherwise, he's just real light and just.
That's when people's eyes.
Break down that fight. We were just in Rigo's camp yesterday. We're back tomorrow in Miami, and obviously they fight December 9th, Madison Square Garden. 2 pound for pounders, 2 gold medalists. It's a big fight.
It's a big fight. It's a big boxing match there, man, for all the boxing heads, man. You know, what I'm interested in is, I think there's only been a few people that really can pop Lomachenko, you know, that he's fought. And, you know, he's been in so many fights. Like I said, even if you can pop him, he's still gonna just do his thing, come in, and still, he's gonna stick to his game plan, you know? But at least I like that Regan guy, I think, can really pop him and get some real respect and maybe make him behave a little bit out of character. We've never seen him behave out of character, so that's what I want to see is, can this dude ever get put out of character? You know? I never saw the fight that he lost. I never saw
versus
that fight.
Salido?
Yeah, I never saw that.
Would have been interesting because Salido did a lot of body work, but a lot of it, or some of it, was dirty to the fans.
Yeah,
so people don't know if Lomachenko's vulnerable to the body, or it was just that the body shots were very dirty, which caused him to lose stamina.
Body shots people are throwing, they are not body shots. It's like this section, you don't block here, bro.
Right above the pelvic area.
Yeah, you don't block above the notch. You don't block like right here, dog. They be coming in like, yo, I mean, look, like, they be coming in like, they be getting you like right below your mind, but they're like a fist under that. There's nothing to block that, and you just gotta take that. And if they can sneak a few of those boys in, you know, I mean, you know, Danny was a little low. He didn't like getting warned for it. He was getting just a little low, hitting at the cup a few times, you know.
Any worry in Rigo moving up 2 divisions to face Lomachenko? You think it's still an even fight?
Because of the skills, yeah, you know what I mean? And he cracks hard enough, like I said, you know what I mean? He's got a good reach and everything, you know? Lomachenko's still not that big of a dude, you know? So, you know, I mean, he does have an advantage. Like I said, he should just be, I expect him to be himself, hands up, just little in and out, little side, little boop, boop, boop. And then his little angle, his thing is once when he gets you here, because he's southpaw, he got his foot on the outside, he likes to take that pivot. Because he got the foot on the outside, he likes to take that pivot, hold you down here, and pop you with that left hook. Boom. He likes to go out to this side and get you on the left hook. Bah. That's what he, you know, or catch you with the uppercut, whatever it is. You just stand here and Lomachenko does his pivot, you need to move. That's all I gotta say. He's gone. Yeah.
So what you think about the bad boys of boxing?
What's that?
The Charlos.
Yeah, man. I mean, you didn't get to see a fight. You know what I mean? But homeboy, his sparring partner is Errol Spence. So he's got A-class sparring. You know what I mean? He got everything he needs to have a good camp. And them boys are bad, man. They've been focused. They've been focused for a long time, man. You know, I remember them from the amateurs, man. I was in their gym right before I lost to Andrade in the amateurs. I was in their gym, you know? And I mean, they bout it, man. They're ready. This is the life that they always wanted. This is the life I always wanted. This is the life of a champion. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That you got people who they want to be champions, so they challenge the champ. Then you got the champ. All he's trying to do is maintain. He's just trying to stay champ. You know. You know, when it comes to anybody, you know. But then, one's at 160 now,
Yep.
and one's at 54.
Jamal is at 160, and he's the WBC mandatory, but after the rematch for Canelo and Triple G, he's the mandatory to that belt. And Jamel is the WBC 54-pound champion, just took care of his mandatory in Erickson Lubin. Can you get the other batteries?
Oh, yeah? So, you know, that's interesting. You know, I'm glad to see them out of the weight class because, you know, we know they ain't going to fight each other. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they're in 2 separate weight classes, you know, and they can just both focus on their careers and do their thing, you know.
Are you going to be a career welterweight, or are you going to move up at some point, do you think?
He flirted one time.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I just been waiting for old age. Let it be that natural boxing story where when you're in your prime, you compete where you're supposed to compete. Then you slightly walking away from those and you go into some bigger, heavier numbers and you start dibbling, dabbling, you know. But the problem with me is I don't have the hype. I go to 160. The average height's probably 6'2" at 160. You know what I mean? The average height's 6'2". You know, we know what. Look at Canelo when he, not Canelo, Cotto. Look at Cotto when he moved up. You know what I mean? You just see he's a smaller dude. He was originally 140, so it was definitely really apparent. But you know, I got better height than him. But you know, I mean, I just know boxing. I know my whole career was gonna be 147. That's all I ever really wanted. You know what I mean? If I move up, there's opportunities and stuff. You know, Canelo fight's a big fight, but nothing we've ever really talked about or anything. You know. So, we'll see. It's not what I want. Those aren't where I'm trying to be. We're trying to hold it down and trying to be that next king at 147. You know, with that manifest.
2017 has brought us a lot of things we wouldn't normally see in the ring. And since you said Canelo isn't, you know, something that is on your mind, but you know, we've seen stranger things happen. We've seen Mikey Garcia and a couple of other Al Heyman fighters get offered some big contracts from Golden Boy Matt. Allegedly $2 million offers to fight Miguel Cotto, but you had to sign. If a contract like that came down the pipeline for Keith, you know, sign with Golden Boy, but we'll give you this Canelo fight. Is he a big enough thing to get you?
$2 million is not big enough to let me ride out a contract, but you know, if they want to put in stipulations like that, then you know.
Because I don't know if you know, I don't want to interrupt.
A few more stipulations from my end to make things comfortable. You know what I mean? That's why contracts never get done, right? Because one dude wants the contract one way, and he gives it to you, and he just wants you to sign it. You know, you come. You either don't like it, so you say no thank you, or you do some real negotiating, say, well, if you really want it, then you throw it back in their face with a little bit of your ink on it, and you play ball. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if you know, they offered it to Mikey, Earl, Danny. Anyone else I'm missing?
I think that's it.
Okay,
well,
Mike.
It might have been okay, but it wasn't extravagant. Not a game changer for them boys' careers. You know what I mean? These are successful fighters already. You really want to get them over to your bandwagon and do some, then you got to throw in a game changer. You know what I mean? They're probably being slightly reasonable, but nothing these boys can accomplish without that kind of contract. So then why sign something you can do by yourself?
Let's speak of them specifically, though, because remember that the carrot that they were dangling was Miguel Cotto, and we're in an era where we're out of legendary fighters. Like you said, Jeff Horn got to beat a legendary fighter, but he's the last one. So a Miguel Cotto win, it could make Keith Thurman a pay-per-view star because he's one of the last pay-per-view stars around.
I mean, you said my right when it comes to the name. The stipulation is, you know, you talk about fighters in their contract. Did you get to read it?
No.
You know what I mean? What's the fine print really say, man? That's the problem, man. Because once when you signed in, you signed in. How many times have you been on your little camera talking about some, hey, yeah, you know, this fighter, he's in this bad situation, you know, these contracts and blah, blah, blah. So we know you got to be careful, man.
Well, to be fair, Mikey Garcia did say that what Golden Boy is putting out in the media as far as $2 million, they never offered that.
There you go. See, so you know, like I said, y'all got your industry of rumors and future telling and all this other stuff. Y'all in that industry, you know. But, you know, I was just playing around, you know, because I'm not doing much, right? So I was just playing around. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the fastest I can snap out like a triple jab? Like, what's the like, how fast can, like, how short of a jab can I push through? You know, I probably was thinking a little bit of Shawn, because you know Shawn likes to force his way in with that jab. Nice strong jab behind all his leg muscle and all that shit. You know, so.
Yo, you really want that Shawn rematch? You feel like you could have done better?
Nah, that's my boy though, man. I just like we used to be up in this ring, dog. Like we punched each other for free. You know what I mean? So you talk about some putting contracts together, you know? And I mean, Shawn, I just know myself, man. And what happened? How many times did I rock him in the fight? Right? And that day, I just couldn't close the show, man. I was missing something. I was missing the chip off the edge. I couldn't close it. You know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, if we get another opportunity, we're really gonna try to dig down and be able to close it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my boy, but
First person to stop Shawn Porter.
You believe like y'all can just get through me. Y'all thought like, oh, we'll just tear him up. What are you gonna do? Like, you already went extra hard. You're gonna go extra, like double XL on me? Like, what you doing, dog? Like, what kind of game plan you got, man? Like, you know, it's boxing.
So like how
Hit and don't get hit, spacing. I showed you the tape before the fight. Didn't I show you the tape before the fight? We released the tape, right? And then it ended up being practically the same thing. You know, like I said, like every day of the week, he comes and he does good. But I'm better. I landed bigger, better shots, better counters, this, that. I just sneak it in, you know? Otherwise, we go toe-to-toe quite well. We go toe-to-toe, you know? But,
it was an
you know, if I had to do it one more time, I'm going to try to buckle down and make it so that he doesn't have a right to be like, yo, we know we can get through Thurman. Like, no, I need to let you know you can't get through here, dog. All right? There's a lot. Not welcome. You know what I'm saying? No access. You don't have VIP access. You can't get back here, bro. You can't get through Thurman. You know?
Since we were talking about Cotto and Saddam Ali is obviously facing him, he's a 147-pounder. If he actually beats Cotto in good fashion, does he all of a sudden become a commodity in the division to guys like you, or do you still know, hey, like the way you're treating Jeff Horn? Or not per se treating him, but what you're saying about Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn still, I don't care if he beat Manny Pacquiao. He's still like, what, got 16 fights? You beat the old man and you want to talk junk to all of us young thugs out here. You want to talk junk to us, right? Like, you know what I mean? That's like me, you know what I'm saying? Seeing someone with a cane, I push that old dude, then I look at you like, what? You know what I mean? Like come on, man. Like, you ain't just do nothing. You ain't do nothing. Messing with the handicap. Like, you ain't do nothing. You know, I mean, Manny Pacquiao, people know, like, Manny Pacquiao never wanted to fight Keith Thurman. You know, Manny Pacquiao don't want to do anything. All he do is listen to Bob Arum. You know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao don't speak his own mind, you know?
But for Ali, Saddam, would it be different?
For Saddam Ali, man, it's a real good fight for him. He gets his victory, it's a real good W for him. But we just saw him lose, too.
To Jesse.
Right? So it's a process of a bounce back. You know what I mean? It ain't like people, you know, and what kind of performance does he give in the fight? Performance rate matters. If he gives a real exciting performance, then hey, maybe he might put himself in the game to be talked about with people like me because the excitement, that performance rate over Cotto. If he has a regular fight with Cotto, if he has a draw performance with Cotto, then what do you think they're gonna say? You know what I mean? But a victory at least puts him somewhere, and he can start to get back into some good negotiations and possibly work himself back into a world title position, because that's what he ended up losing, right? Was his title shot. So you know, and I know Saddam from the amateurs. I remember watching Saddam and Danny fight. I remember watching a lot of different guys fight each other, you know what I mean? So Saddam's nice, man. I wish him the best just because I know him from way back too. Tournaments where we had like multiple rings and shit. And I'll be waiting, because he's one weight class before me, so I'll be waiting and I'll be watching the rings, and sometimes he'll be in one of them rings. I'll be getting ready to go in one of these rings. So Saddam's a good kid, man. Been live boxing his whole life, you know what I mean? But not a devastating puncher or anything like that. So it's a good fight for Cotto. I don't think he's got to really worry about getting knocked out or anything. And he can, as a veteran, you know, I think it is a winnable fight if Saddam doesn't buckle down and have that A-class training camp he needs to be that young dog who beats the old dude like Jeff Horn just did to Pacquiao. Because to me, all Jeff Horn showed was he's a game fighter. All right? He showed me he's game, you know? But he ain't show me skill. He ain't show me footwork. He ain't show me crazy head movement, reflexes. You know, he didn't show me nothing. He just showed me he's game.
Well, we talk stadium fights. He could show you a stadium. What if he offers you a stadium and a contract? Is that changed him? Would you go to Brisbane?
What do you mean?
Go to Australia?
Yeah, it's Australia. I mean, he put 50,000 in Australia.
It's huge money.
For enough money, we'll do anything, dog. I don't care. I'll fight on the moon. Let NASA sign me a contract. We'll fight on the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Saddam Ali, obviously Jesse Vargas beat him, and he was just signed back by Al Heyman Has that been a name that's gone across your mind as a potential opponent next year?
Nah, that's no
Jesse
Tuneup.
Vargas.
Oh,
Because he just signed with Heyman.
He's no
yeah,
Tuneup.
you know, I mean, I don't think so. You know, I don't think that's gonna pop in. You know, but if it did, man, this is what I'm saying, man. I'm open.
Yeah, but not as your tune-up, though.
Huh?
Not as your tune-up, right? Like, I don't think he's a tune-up.
He might be one of my tune-ups. You know what I'm saying? He might not be a tune-up for you now, you know. Jesse's nice, you know, but I don't know. That's the thing. I really have no clue what my tune-up's gonna be. How much of a tune-up is gonna be, you know? Because when I'm back, I'll just be like, yo, I'm whatever. Whatever, man. If they really be like, Keith, this is what we got for you. How many fighters really, you know, they talk about people running from people, but how many times have you really heard a fighter turning down a fight contract? How many times have you really heard that? You know what I mean? Knowing that they were really presented and they were like,
Oh shit, I'm about to switch subjects. So you don't believe Deontay Wilder's the most feared boxer in the world, as he said? So he said they running and dodging from him.
I mean, at the end of the day,
He said they taking PEDs, just not to fight him.
I mean, they're taking it to fight him, really. They just getting caught, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're taking them in preparation to fight him is what they're doing, you know? Every single time I see Deontay, this is what it looked like. What up? What up, D? What up, huh? Yeah. Big ass motherfucker, bro. Big motherfucker, man.
Yeah, that does seem like what's gonna happen anyway, because Horn is on that Bob Arum side, so.
Yeah, man, look.
Realistically, I don't even see Terence.
That belt's gonna come back to America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to be honest, just to throw something out there, because it don't matter what we really say, nothing really matters. Sometimes it do when people want to initiate real dramas to each other, then what gets talked about matters, man. But, you know, what would be great is if I got 2 belts, if we unified the other 2 belts and then fought for all 4. The way Crawford had an opportunity to fight for all 4 before he moved weight classes, you know. But, I mean, like I said, I don't even really know, man. I'm just going to take it step by step. First step is just getting back, man. First step is just getting back, you know. I mean, just being in here, you know, it's nice to visualize, you know, punches, defense, you know, onslaught, boom, boom, slip, old, move, whatever, you know. It's nice to be up in here, you know, but it's different, you know, because I still know I can't throw this out and lock it out like that. It's an elbow. It's all about getting that snap right at the end. Bop. You know what I mean? So we just trying to extend it, you know. And it's extending, man. It's extending. It's way better than it was 2-3 months ago. That's for sure. So day by day, you know.
And how this injury occur? During the fight?
No, man. So I had it in camp. I found out on this heavy bag. I felt pain. I did 8 rounds on the bag, and I was just boom, boom, throwing hooks like this, boom, boom, just like medium speed, medium power, just going through the motions. It was real early in camp. I felt pain. I got an MRI, and they showed loose bodies, you know. So it's just wear and tear, man. You get these things called bone spurs, and sometimes they break off, and then little calcium deposits are just sitting around. They're just like floating, like having grains of sand inside your joints. You know what I mean? So they're rubbing against a lot of soft tissue, and they're rubbing against maybe some ligaments and tendons sometimes, and it creates a whole lot of unnecessary inflammation. You know what I mean? To be honest, man, I mean, I was thinking like that media day, I'm like, you know, you ain't really supposed to be throwing your heavy punches, but I did anyways. You know what I mean? I went home, I iced it, this and that, and I had like a cortisone shot from the doctor before the fight. You know, you just do what you got to do as an athlete, and then afterwards I'm done. And I talked to more than one doctor. That's another thing. I always talk to more than one doctor. And they said, like, you're going to experience a little bit of pain because it's going to cause inflammation, but you can get through this camp, you can get through this fight, but surgery is going to be necessary afterwards. You don't have too many alternatives, you know what I mean? So we just did it, man. We got through the Garcia fight, you know.
So you have scars?
Yeah, bro. You want to see the scars, bro? Yeah. Well, we got tape here. All right, see? So, but I don't know. You can see, you know. But that's
so it was just like laser then?
No.
Or they opened
this. This is, yes, they go
clean,
in, right?
Yeah, it's very clean.
Right?
It's clean,
here,
man.
and then they did some here. There should be 2 here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had stitches all around this, right? And then here too, on this one right here. See that one right there? So here, and over here, they went in at like practically every angle, man. The doc said there was actually more than he thought. When he went in there, he said there was quite a bit floating around, but he went in, shaved some of the bone down so certain things don't hit other things and irritate stuff. He said he cleaned me up good, but then I posted a picture of the swollen arm, you know what I mean?
With all the black and
it was
blue.
all swollen and stuff. And I mean, you know, that took a while just for all that black and blue, man. That thing was crazy. I feel like it almost left a permanent, not like a permanent stain.
Yeah,
you see
stain.
this? Like,
yeah.
you see this? It was so much, it didn't clear out fast enough. It left like a fingerprint, like injury, motherfucker. Remember me, you know. We all that's what scars do. Scars remind us, you know. But I'm working really hard at, with my massage therapist and stuff. You don't want your scar tissue to get too thick. You know what I mean?
Tight.
Yeah, it gets tight and it really starts impeding your range of motion and your movement on what that muscle is able to do. So that's what this therapy is all about, man. You know what I mean? I'm an athlete, bro. So we gotta invest into the body. We invest into ourselves. It bothers me now because like I want to do pull-ups and push-ups, and I'm just like, hold off. You know what I mean? I'll just get on the bike. I'll just do some bicycling cardio. I don't even want to run right now because it ain't camp mode. So I'm just like biking it out, you know, getting my little spin on,
Getting the body active.
like I said, just got to get it in motion, man, because once when you get, like, even just people who want to lose weight, diet or whatever, you know what I mean? You don't got to start off hard, but what matters the most, too, is, like, you're not going to lose your weight in 2 weeks, and you're not going to keep it off in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? But if you have, like, an 8-week diet, exercise regimen, you're going to see results because you have a real game plan. You've been moving, and eventually your body gets used to no matter what exercise you do. If you're doing it 5 days a week, you know what I'm saying? That's why it doesn't have to be a lot. Because if you're not used to working out a lot, but you're about to work 5 days a week, you work out too hard one day, you're not gonna get up and work out the next day. So you can't work too hard. You just gotta get in motion, do what you can. That's enough so that you can recover by the next day, do it again, and then slowly build from there. And just get stronger, then you move more, and then the weight will slowly start falling off more naturally. I mean, shoot, once when I'm running an hour a day, 5 days a week, how can I not lose weight? After boxing practice.
An hour you run?
An hour a day, 5 days a week, after boxing practice. How am I not gonna lose weight?
What kind of pace are you running?
Like 5 miles, bro.
What kind of pace am I running? That's a good thing.
Because an hour could be,
5 miles?
no, it could be more depending on the
Yeah.
pace. What's your, you run like a 6, right?
Yeah, it depends.
7:30.
Yeah, so I do my heart rate zone. So all as long as I'm in my zone, I'm at that speed.
Work smarter, not harder.
If my heart's working too much, that's permission to hit the down button. Boy, I like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I can slow down.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I got permission to slow down. All right, that's what's up. Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, yeah, we good. We in this. Yeah, we in this. And we slow down. All right, this is gonna be easy today, you know. But you just don't, you know. You stay in that zone, that's the fat burning zone, and then on other days, you know, you bust out a sprint or something, you know, something to really open up the lungs and make you feel fatigue and stuff. But I do a lot of long, boring cardio. My boy even told me, because I did it at LA Fitness, and he said, yo, I ain't never seen somebody run 1 hour straight live on the treadmill. You know what I mean? He said, I'm trying to run 10 minutes straight on the treadmill right now. Big boy, you know? Big boy, nickname Mule. What up, Mule? Shout out, Mule. What up, boy? You know what I'm saying? You need to run them 10 minutes, boy. We'll get you right. You know, he's doing a little bit right now, but he's just used to lifting and eating. That's it. You know what I mean?
Different athlete.
Yeah, man. He said that was the day he knew boxing was like, psh, no joke. He's like, you was just sitting there, dog, just getting it.
Some people
and then I sprint the last last 3 minutes. I'm sprinting the last 3 minutes of it. He's like, I don't know how you did that. You know? And I'm like, every step I'm thinking like, paycheck. Paycheck. You know? Like, I'll forget, dog. I don't got a plan A. I don't got a side job, man. We don't make no money any other way. That's why I wish I could be more active, man. But to be honest, when bullshit like this happens, injury and stuff, I just count my blessings, man. I'm still Keith one-time Thurman, champion of the world, 28-0, 22 knockouts, living the life that I always wanted to live, man. So I'm just blessed, man, you know. If, you know, any drama you go through, you know, I'm just happy. You know, we got a good team. Heyman, got a lot of people that care about me. Dan, always been here since forever, since I was young, you know what I mean? So like, all this new media and people's opinions, it doesn't matter when you know who you are, you know where you came from, you know your peoples, you know how hard you work, you know, like y'all can't discourage me. A win, a loss, it doesn't define me, you know what I mean? It's just, this is my career. You know, you can say, oh, you know, that body shot I took, don't define me, and y'all forget, I took it.
I know.
I took it.
It
Stop
bothers
acting
me.
like I didn't take it.
It bothers me.
Acting like I didn't take it though. Like, oh, he got hit and took it. All right, let's talk about people who get hit and don't take it. Come on now.
They make it seem like you went down. It's fucking, it frustrates
They were
me.
trying to put a chink in the armor. Like, you got a chink. You got a
But
chink.
this is the sport of boxing, and when it comes to it, you know, we have a saying. This is what Ben used to say. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. No such thing as a perfect fighter. So if you a critiquing motherfucker and you just like, oh yeah, he ain't shit. He ain't shit. You see that shit he got hit with, dog? Yo, I'm pretty sure, dog, we get you on the ring, we get you right, you'll slap him with that same shit. You'll slap him with that same shit. You know what I mean? But it's so, you know, that was in the moment with his positioning, boom, he got that. Did he ever get it again in that fight? No. Have you ever seen me have to take that shot again? No. You know, so
you think you didn't get the respect that you definitely deserved from the Danny fight? You don't think you still have gotten?
Nah, I get mad respect. I don't know. People who like boxing, I get mad respect. Mad respect. People who are Danny fans, I get mad respect. It don't matter, man. You know, I was cheering for my boy Danny, man, but you did your thing. You did your thing. You know, I was just in New York when I got back in town. I was just in New York, you know, and man, New York, the love I'm getting out there from the back-to-back big fights. You know, like my boy just said over here, like, I fucks with you. You know what I mean? Like them New Yorkers, man.
Yeah.
You know, people, doormans. You know, yo, that's the champ. Yo, what up, champ? What up, champ? You know, just other people in the street. Some people just shout out. Some people high fives. Seeing people in the mall, this and that. Shoot, I dropped my bracelet, man. My girl's dad bought this for me. I was in New York. I was in Bloomingdale's, right? And this fell off my wrist, right? And I just met the head of security. He was a boxing fan. And he saw me shop, and I just met him. I took a picture with him. I did the whole fighter pose, right? I had this on my wrist. I go back to the hotel room. This ain't on my wrist no more. I go back to Bloomingdale's. I start putting a report in. I bring him down. I'm like, yo, bring out your phone. Show me that picture we took, right? And he goes, damn, your bracelet's on your wrist. You know what I'm saying? Luckily enough, less than 24 hours, they found that.
What?
At Bloomingdale's, they found that, man. Her father bought that. That was a gift from her father in Nepal. You know, my wife's father. So I was about to be like so just like, oh, I'm gonna have to hear it from my wife. She's gonna be like, you don't care about, you don't protect nothing. You do this, you do that, you know. Because sometimes I don't take care of things the most, man. My whip out there got bird shit on it. I'm not the best.
But that's good. You're not materialistic.
You know who you are.
I know. I'm about to get rid of all that stuff, man. And you know what? When it comes to not being materialistic, man, being in Nepal, being in a poor country, you know what I mean, where these people don't have what we have access to, right? So like it's like they're poor in like that sense, right? But when it comes to family,
Rich in life,
and song and dance and just having a good time and stuff, they know how to do that, man. Them kids are smiling, running around in the streets. Everybody, like your neighbors will watch your kids. It's not like you gotta ask them. Like everybody's got eyes on everybody. Everybody knows whose child this is and this and that. People are safe out there. You know what I mean? There was one mugging though. There's straight at nighttime, somebody took someone's wallet or something and just
there's always something
gone, right? There's always, I mean, and it's a city life. It's a city life. Every city got some people eating better than others in the city. You know, I'm not. This ain't city. Clearwater, St. Pete, Tampa's the city. You know what I'm saying? So like, Kathmandu has 1 more million people than my whole county, Pinellas County. That city in Nepal has 2.2 million people or something. It was a nice size, man. But I was there for 4.5 months, boy. I started knowing the roads. I know how to get to the U.S. Embassy. I lost my passport out there. I lost my passport.
You're losing everything, man.
I lost my passport. Go to the embassy. Had to pay $150. Got it within almost like 10 days. They sent it, so that was pretty straight. But all my wallet, so like my credit cards, I had to get new everything. It was crazy. It was but I was staying with her family, man. They saved me a lot of money. I wouldn't be overseas. You know, you'd be spending a lot a months, man. They so much love, man. Their grandmama
in the street. It was like, what?
They call grandma is Haja Amma. Amma is for mother, and Haja is like more respect and elderly. So the elder mother, Haja Amma, that's grandmother. You know what I mean? She don't speak no English, but she'll give me like a hugging kiss every morning, ask if I'm eating and everything, you know. But the fruit, they're a poor country, man, but their fruit is fire. Pomegranate, mango, organic, sugarcane juice, all organic. Like, what? And then their water bottles, because this is a funny thing, right? Their water bottles, big water bottle, right? Pure water, because they produce, that country produces its own bottled water. They don't have bottled water like Zephyr Hills imported from other places. They got like a little bit of that. Most of it is made in-house. They have a real good filtration system that they put it all through. 50 cents a bottle, dog. Big bottles of water, 50 cents a bottle, dog. Dang. You can't get bottles of water out here for 50 cents. I don't think you can get a soda out the soda machine for 50 cents no more. It's probably 75% machine. 75 cents.
No, soda machine $1.25 minimum.
When I was a kid, we used to have the 25-cent one. The 25. There's like the cheapest machine used to be 25 cents, and now it's probably like 75 to $1 or something. But most of them are $1.25.
Dan said
10 cents. He took it back.
10 cents.
Dan took it back to our father's time.
10 cents.
Then go to the store, 50 cents, come back mad stuff.
Yeah, I gotta ask. I'm switching subject. I know we were on culture and stuff, but it's a big fight that's brewing. It's been dominating the news. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. You know, Wilder's really pushing for the Anthony Joshua fight. You know, like I said before, he's been saying he's been ducking. Eddie Hearn is saying the fight needs to be bigger. What's your thoughts? You know, Wilder doesn't want to wait.
Man, like that's a funny thing, right? Like, I don't know, Wilder hasn't had a lot. He's got a lot of fights. He hasn't had a lot of big names. You know what I mean? So is Wilder ready? Yes. Is Joshua ready? To say maybe not is not that far-fetched. To say that we want our champ to fight a little bit more. What, he had like 18 fights when he fought?
I think he's at 19-0 right now.
It's like 19.
No, he's 20-0.
20-0.
20-0. He was 16-0 when he won the first title.
To say they want to actually let him fight for another year or so without going against America's biggest, baddest dude and one of the other biggest, baddest dudes in the world, because Joshua's trying to be that. But sorry, buddy, you're not the only one in the world. We got this boy, Bronze Bomber here, been holding it down. Got here before you, son. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can understand that, especially from a promoter, you know, standpoint, and wants to make it bigger. But it's the heavyweight fight of the world. It's the heavyweight fight. You know what I mean? Like Keith Spence, you know. But now you got, like I said, which we call it.
I see how you threw that in there, like Keith Spence. So you think Keith Spence is the big welterweight fight? Because I mean, Crawford's out there. Kellerman keeps flirting with Crawford, Spence to see who comes out of there.
They love him, you know. I mean, Max, you know, Max likes the fighters he likes.
Yes.
I don't really ever felt like he liked me much, but anyway, you know what I mean. Max, you know, he's got quite a bit of knowledge, man. But at the end of the day, like I say, when it comes to Crawford, you know, is he really just going to be able to dominate 147 the way that he dominated 140? Like, I think everybody knows the answer is no. I think everybody knows
Do we?
147
Really?
is a
I mean, no, look. I'm saying everybody knows I'm biased. You're my guy in this division, so I already said that. But
at the end of the day,
a lot of people feel like that.
A lot of people do feel like that, right? But I didn't say can he win. I said can he dominate.
The way he did.
The
Like,
way
I
he
picked
did.
the
Is he
postal
really gonna dominate? And I
dog.
said I think everybody knows the answer is no. It should not be that path to victory. Should not be the story at 147. Even if he was to be the most successful 147 pounder. You know what I mean? That's one thing about talking about boxing. I don't mind saying I might get my ass whooped. I might get my ass whooped. I don't mind. I find the best fighters in the world, and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I know when people fight Keith Thurman, they're gonna fight something that they've never been up against. A diversity, a power puncher who knows how to think, who knows how to do a lot of things in that ring. You know what I mean? And got balls, got grit. You know what I mean? Fighting with hematomas, taking body shots. You know what I mean? Who rocked me with that Karas? Rocked me with that looping overhand right when I was about to throw an uppercut from the outside. Not gonna do too many of those no more. You know, uppercuts from the outside. He had that long looping punch. Boom, caught me on my chin, and you see little whoa. You know, then he comes back with a follow-up uppercut, and you see one more time, my knee goes boom. On that one, you really see when I'm up on the ropes, you see that uppercut land because I'm backing up and my legs are a little wobbly. But I recover in that round, and I land some better punches of my own in that round, and I win the round. You know. So like for me, it's just boxing, you know. For everybody else, it's like they're gambling on it, you know what I'm saying? They're making bets in the streets, they're making bets with the bookies, you know what I'm saying? Or they're riding out with their flag, oh my Cuban fighter, my whatever, you know what I mean? They ride
Nationalism.
nationalism, you know. They ride it out like that, man, you know. For me, it's just another day in the life of a fighter, you know. I mean, I like it like a gladiator sport, even when I'm not fighting, right? Like we know I've been out for a while, right? But in my head, I still know like, motherfucker, you got a fight coming up. You know what I mean? Because I'm not retired. I got a fight coming up, you know? It ain't happening today, it ain't happening tomorrow, but I got a fight coming up and I got some titles to defend. So, this little thing here, it's like a playground, bro. It's like a playground. A playground where grown men get to slap each other. What up, cook?
Do you like that, like Earl and Terence are similar to yourself in the sense that they're vocal in terms of who they want to fight and that they feel that they're the best or their skills? Because, I mean, Terence Crawford is very social on social media about taking over 147. And obviously Earl himself, right? He's been calling you out way before he had a title.
Yeah, I mean, and I said I would get all the titles before I ever had one too.
And you called out Mayweather when you were 17-0. So that's what I mean. You guys are all similar in the sense that you're vocal. Do you like that?
I do. I think, you know, we're in this little trifecta right now. It's like a tripod, you know, hold everything up. Welterweight division, you got 3 big dogs, you know. That's what I'm saying, like, you know. We don't expect that Australian to beat Crawford. We don't even give him a shot, to be honest. We don't give him a shot. You know, you're gonna fight one of our real ones. You know, it's a little different, man. It's just different. You know, so you know, Crawford though, he's fought some, you know, big lanky people, you know. Everybody spars. I've sparred heavyweights, you know what I mean? So, you know, he's gonna feel comfortable at 147. They're probably gonna add some little strength regimen, try to let him actually fill up into 147 a little better than he was at 140. You know, but you know, he just gotta do something, man. He just gotta do something. And I think getting a belt, you know, because he is doing a lot of talking, he is being very vocal, but at least getting a belt, then he can be a little bit. I just think it'll have a little bit more merit. I mean,
why do you think that none of the welterweights are calling him out the way that they were calling Danny out? When Danny moved from 140, he was a commodity. It's like, oh, he's a unified champion. Every welterweight immediately wanted a shot at Danny. Right now, people are kind of just waiting for Crawford to see what he does.
Plus, everyone thought Danny was going to lose to everybody he almost ever fought until he fought me, and people were like, well, I don't want to say no to Danny because last time I said no, I was wrong, and I don't want to say, you know, and I thought so-and-so was going to beat him, you know what I mean? I mean, everybody saw Danny. In my opinion, I've always seen Danny as a beatable guy. Nobody's shown up and had the right fight, right game plan and executed. Even Lamont Peterson. That night, if Lamont would have boxed smarter, better, a little harder, I think he could have got that W. I think a lot of people believe he had the W in him that night, but he didn't put on that W performance. You know what I mean? So with Crawford, you know, people just know that he's skillful and he's different. He's boxing this way, he's boxing this way, he's good with both hands, you know, he's got some pop, you know, so... You know, I mean... Can
that affect one time the, you know, what is it, how you say it?
Yeah, switching up. You know what I mean? Some people talk about not liking southpaws. Some people just don't like southpaws. So how do you feel when someone's, you know, constantly, you know, if they're just one round they're like this, next round they're like this, or you know, he hits you with a left hook, so he's like this. You know, but then when he switches, he realizes this body shot's better. So now for 4 rounds, he's like this in your face, you know? I mean, me, I fought Bundu, I fought lots of southpaws and stuff. So, you know, I'm comfortable. I understand all the angles of attack, you know, but some people.
So it wouldn't affect you?
Nah, you know. I mean, I switched on Bundu, dog. You know, you saw that, you know. We switched back on, you know. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. You know, I like playing mental games with people like that. It's weird. I feel like when I'm in the ring, I have a lot of conversations without words, right? Like when a fighter's not punching and I'm not punching, the conversation is, well, who's punching? What you want to do? I'm here. Like, I don't know what he has in his mind. I know what I have in my mind. I'm probably calm, I'm probably cool, probably feel like I'm up on the scorecards. I'm looking for a counter. I'm just seeing how much output he wants to do and see if in the middle of his output, if I can sneak something nice in. And how nice is it? What kind of openings is he gonna give me? But to give me an opening, you gotta open up. That's something that Garcia wasn't doing a lot. So we were having these moments where I was real surprised. He just didn't mind just looking at another brother. Like, you in the ring, this fight mode, but you just don't mind just, Shawn, you can tell, he's just, in his head, he's ready. I'm ready. You know, and he was real calm here. No real, like, just calm pressure. Like, oh, we'll attack when we feel like we're ready to attack. Like, he wasn't that forceful. You know what I mean? Certain fighters, you know, they get forceful. You can see when fighters are eager, they land a good shot, now they're ready to go for the knockout or whatever, you know, but it's not like I was giving him many shots, and he's not too much of a jabber. We both aren't much of jabbers that much, you know, but I don't know, man. You learn a little something from every fight, and I like that too. You know, you learn just a little something from every fight, you know. Crawford, I'd like to see, you know, I would like to see him in with a Shawn Porter, a real welterweight that's gonna push him, you know. But we've yet to see him. Is it contracted yet? Is this fight contracted? Being talked about, but yeah. So we've yet to see him really get contracted, you know. I mean, some of the people he beat, like when he beat Gamboa was a smaller guy. You know what I mean? I know Gamboa was a name, and I know who Gamboa was. But still, he really was a smaller guy, and we've seen Gamboa get caught. We've seen that lack of discipline that Gamboa has. And Crawford doesn't have that problem. He's got more discipline. You know what I'm saying? He was hungry. He's a bigger guy, and he showed up. But that's what made him, like, grab everyone's attention. And then he just started messing up everybody else, too, along with it, you know? But, you know, it's not like...
What's his most impressive win to you?
I mean, I guess to me, it still almost is that fight, you know, because we know who Gamboa was, but Gamboa was, you know, just the smaller guy and all the switching up and everything, and he was getting caught too much. You know, we know Gamboa will have his hands down and he'll just kind of fight it out, you know what I mean?
You do some good impersonation.
You know?
Yeah, you looked like Loma earlier, now the little shoulders right there did look like Gamboa a little bit.
We know he do that, you know, so, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, here's a good fight for him. Here's a good fight, just awkwardly, right? Damn. Amir Khan, there we go. Amir Khan.
you don't think Amir Khan's vulnerability would fall under the same kind of excuse people give Gamboa? Because the Gamboa fight, the thing was, oh, well, we all know Gamboa's chin.
I don't care. It's a different fight. It's better than the people he's been fighting at 140. It's better than his last opponent, last 2-3 opponents. You ask me, Amir Khan's better than his last 2-3 opponents.
So do you think Crawford's a little bit unproven in a way because of the competition level in his division?
Yeah, all the 140 pounders already shifted away to 147 when he was coming
like the
up.
Lamans, the Dannys, they all moved up.
They all moved up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that he wouldn't beat Danny and did things like that. You know what I mean? Oh, and another one. Who's that boy that called me out? Mikey, right?
Mikey Garcia.
He just had one fight at 140, and now he wants the 147. Obviously, his real is going somewhere else, but he made y'all happy for a weekend talking some shit, right? So he made you guys, with all that media stuff, he made y'all happy talking some shit for a weekend, right? You know?
You wouldn't take a Mikey fight just because potentially he brings some money?
It just would be awkward. Of course, like I said, man, I don't like talking about anything until I'm on the phone with Al, and it's like, what's good? What's good, Al? Hockey, yeah. You know, we got this fight for you, so how do you feel? How do you think Dan feels? Blah, blah, blah. And we talk. You know, it's real. If it's real, it's real. You know what I'm saying? But I knew it was talk. He's just talking, and he don't belong jumping up like that. You know what I mean? I'm not Adrien Broner. You have a height and a reach, and you put on a nice distance. Everything went the way you wanted it to go. Everything, and Broner, he just, we all know he has a lag to him. He doesn't pop off for the way a young fighter should be popping off. It'd be different if he was Mayweather and he's older. But he's fighting like, you know, he's just not popping. You know what I mean? But is he really fighting Matisse? He got that Lucas Matisse?
Who? Broner?
No, I think that was the internet rumor.
That was an IG rumor. That was an amazing rumor because I was like, what? That's a fight.
Yeah.
Like, man,
well, I mean, Lucas did post that he's back in training, but I don't know, man. I mean, I hope Broner won't take that coming off a loss.
Maybe that manager.
Broner's coming off of a loss.
With a mic fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, you know, I mean.
And those relentless styles are not, you know, his. If you're gonna matchmake him, that's not the right style for him.
Unless if you want him to overcome, time to overcome, boy.
True.
Time to just dig down and show him we can rumble with these type of fighters.
Do you think Broner has that in him, or has he hit a ceiling?
Yeah, he's always had it in him. You know what I mean? But I think.
Too much money too soon?
I'll think two things. I'll say one thing that doesn't really get talked about, that I like to talk about, but doesn't get talked about a lot. When fighters move up in weight, right? It's like adding weights. You know what I mean? So he was really fast at the lower weight classes, right?
Very
really
fast.
fast. We still know he's got fast hands, but he was really fast and he was getting off, right? Okay, show me your speed. You know, you know, show me your speed. All right, go grab some 5-pound weights, show it to me again. Now go grab some 10-pound weights and show it to me again, right? That's my example of what happens when a fighter moves up one weight class, 5 pounds, 2 weight classes, 10 pounds, okay? So remember who did it? Amir Khan did it, right? Amir Khan fought Canelo, right? We know he don't belong up there, right? He came from even lower weight classes. So it looks like he's just moving up one weight class, but if you really know his story, he moved up 2 weight classes, right? So he got to bounce around with 10-pound weights in his hands, trying to throw his fast punches, right? And of course he can do that for a few rounds. But as you're naturally heavier, like I'm heavier, even if I could do 12 rounds today, that's just not going to be the same. It's going to be a slower form of 12 rounds, like some amateur boxers. You know the way Floyd was doing it in all his videos. You know, all them amateur boxers, he was not throwing a punch for 5 minutes, waiting until they get tired and start slapping them up. You know, we know those videos from back in the day. You know, but when you're heavier, you're gonna get fatigued a little bit quicker. You know. So when fighters are moving up, you know, it's like they slow down. So I think AB at 147 just doesn't have the output at 135 because the extra weight plays a role that a lot of people don't like to admit. You know, and just plays a role.
So does he need to go back down to 135 in order to have the?
No, I mean he's at 140, right? 140. I think 140 is better than 147. Like I said, you're talking about a 7-pound weight, and you already moved up a weight class. Now you're adding another 7-pound weight. You know, for what though? For what? I mean, there's action here. There's lots of action. You know, but he didn't do that well, and then he just lost to Mikey too. So it's like. You know, he can compete anywhere he likes. You know, he's an athlete. He can compete wherever he wants. I don't even know if he can really make 135 ever again. But 140, I think you should always cut the most that you can cut. You know.
Week 5 Hopkins is 170.
And what he lose or it was a draw? What was the decision?
He lost.
He lost.
So he was too heavy.
Too heavy. 170. That's not where he belongs. You know.
And he started at 47, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing with Winky, though. He got all his big fights at the end of his career, unfortunately.
Some's better than none.
Absolutely.
Some's better than none.
Absolutely.
And I love his story because it's motivation for those people who believe their careers aren't going the way that they want them to go. They've been waiting a long time. They don't know when it's going to happen. If it's going to happen, you know what I mean? You just got to get with some good people. Wait your time. That's why I'm saying, like Lubin, he could have waited a little while, you know, but when you're really hungry and you're young, you just go in for the goal. Now he's just going to have to bounce back, but he's got the youth for it, so I look forward to watching him bounce back. That's my boy, too. I look forward to seeing him bounce back, you know.
Did he ask you about that fight before you took the fight?
No.
No.
You know, they were with Tyson first before being with Allen and stuff, and they've been a little
secluded,
a little everywhere, like just doing whatever, you know, just whatever they think, you know. I mean, it's hard not to support that boy that you think like we got a champion.
Yeah.
We got a champion. I like I said, I think Lubin is still going to be a champ to be. He's young enough; he can manifest. How many? We just were talking about Adrien Broner. Mm-hmm. We seen Adrien Broner lose titles, win titles. So people forget about that in boxing. That a loss isn't everything.
Broner's different, Keith. Broner, for some reason, you got to think about it yourself. Like, who else gets talked about as much as Broner, even with losses? Like, he's an anomaly, to be honest. Like, he's probably one of the only guys that could come back and still be a pay-per-view star if he gets on track.
135 before he started doing other things, and he moved up 2 weight classes, got the belt at 147, lost, went down. He's like, got a belt, got a belt. Got a belt, got a belt. Hey, you know what I mean? AB, you know, he's freaking, you know, like I said, it's opportunities. He's got the skills. He knows he's at the elite class. You win some, you lose some. You win more than you lose, you got a career. You know what I mean? I told myself the day I lost to Demetrius Andrade, I told myself, you're the #2 fighter in the U.S., right? If you can become the #2 fighter in the world, right? Worst case scenario, because of course you want to be #1, right? Let's just say, like Manny Pacquiao, right? Because we knew Floyd was #1, Manny was #2, right? If Keith Thurman, worst case scenario, worked hard to be #1, I really find out I'm that #2 guy in the world, I got a career. What can I ask for more than a career? And this is what I said the day after I lost my last amateur boxing match, right before turning pro. If I'm the second best American fighter, if I can achieve being the second best fighter in the world, period, I have a career. If I have a career in boxing, that's all that I've ever wanted. So we here, we hold #1, and we want to be that #1. We want that real history. We want to be remembered, right? You know? But it will be what it is once when we get these big fights activated, you know? I like it though. I say we're in marination right now. All you guys keep talking about it. You put some sugar, you put some spice into it. We in marination, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a nice event. It's going to be real sweet when it happens. So we in marination.
And Earl's that big fight, in your mind, it's not Crawford, right?
It doesn't
matter who it is, it's just that there's a big fight marinating.
It doesn't matter. They're both big fights. They're both big fights, you know? And you have to take it
even though Shawn is a big fight.
As it's manifesting. You know what I'm saying? If Spence is to lose to Lamont, what happens? You know what I'm saying? If Crawford brings the title back home, what's the talk? Are they gonna shut up about Keith and Spence? Are they gonna start talking about Crawford and Spence? Are they gonna talk about Thurman and Crawford? What's gonna happen? That's why I don't like the future game. If I'm not gonna fight this dude now, why are we talking about him now? We're talking about him now because you guys want to see it. So right now it's all brewing. Like I said, we marinating. It's brewing, talking about it, putting some ingredients into it. It's not what's gonna happen right now. It is a big fight, and everybody can see that it's a big fight, you know? But it's just, really, if I wasn't injured, we could really talk about anything. We can talk about anything, and the words coming out of my mouth would be a lot different. But having to come off of my situation, I'm living my experience. And getting back in the game, then we can see what's popping, and we're gonna see who else is really champion. Is Jeff Horn really still champion? Is he really still talking shit? Do I really feel like going to Australia? If it makes money and it makes sense, we might be talking about this in 9 months. Who fucking knows? We don't know. We don't know.
So they never called anyone on your team, Bob. No one ever called. When Jeff Horn said what he said, that's all that it was a call out on social media, or did someone actually?
Yeah, what do you mean? I mean, the day he won the fight, he said he's got Thurman and Spence on his radar or something. He said the day he won the fight, he said now he's looking at Thurman and Spence. Now, you know what I mean? And then, you know, I said my little comment, and then his promoter was like, "Oh, well, Thurman's irrelevant, motherfucker. You talk about some word irrelevant over here, blah blah blah. You ain't nothing, and we'll give you the same treatment we gave Manny Pacquiao. You didn't give him nothing. He gave you red face. Like, what are you talking about?
Red face.
He gave you red face. He gave you red face. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. So, you know, I don't mind, man. Like I said, it's competition, baby. You that next competition, you that real one. All right, cool. I accept it. You know what I mean? I just slightly don't believe it yet. I don't care. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? You know how many people? I had dudes tell me the day I fought on HBO, and I called out Paulie, Timothy, Floyd. I called out these fighters, right? He was like, "Yo, man, you was like this cocky dude, everything," and I was like, "You ain't shit. You ain't shit." Then you fought this dude, you fought that dude, you fought Guerrero, you fought with that thing on your head. He said, "Yo, I started to realize, like, this motherfucker might be exactly who he says he is." And he says, "Man, I've been on you ever since." You know, he said, "I didn't start off on you. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't like you, but you won me over, man." You know, and that's what I'm here to do too. I love winning over fans. I actually do. I love winning over fans. I was really bored. I don't know where I was, but sometimes when I'm traveling, I get really bored. And every once in a while, I really get on my
IG?
my Facebook, right? My Facebook, right? And I'll get like all these messages, and I'll start replying back, you know, "Thanks for the love and support, this, that, blah, blah, blah," right? And then I don't know who I was talking to that morning, and I was like, "Man, what you know about boxing?" You know what I mean? Like what you know about this and that? And then he like trying to nail me and all this stuff. And then I'm just like, give him that real speech. And then he's like, "Hold on, is this really Keith Thurman though? Am I really talking to the champ though?" You know what I'm saying? And I just had to put him through. And then by the end of the whole thing, because he was grilling me, he was hating a little. By the end of it, he's like, "Yeah, one time you a real one. You a real one." Like just from my effort alone, just from conversation, I won over a fan. And like I just love winning over fans, man. You know, because for whatever reason everybody got their opinion. You know, but a lot of them, you know, they just have their opinion and they've never interacted with me or the other people that they really like. So when you get that real interaction with a fighter, you realize, nah, he's a real person, you know, and you know, he do putting in that work. You know, that's why I respect everybody. Even the fighters that just go in there and they be losing. You know what I mean? To be a boxer, I respect you, man. This is not an easy sport. It's probably the hardest sport on the planet, if you ask me. It's difficult.
It's definitely an everyday sport. Can't take no days off in this.
Oh, I take plenty of days off, but when we work hard, you know what I mean? But growing up, there's no days off, man. You know what I mean? When you're a real student of the game, there's no days off.
A lot more time invested.
Yeah.
You give up, you sacrifice a lot as a young man.
Sacrificed a lot, man. Hanging out with friends and doing other things, you know.
Going out with your girl, eating what she want to eat, but you can't. You know what I mean?
You know, body shot. I'm just gonna start walking like this. Come on.
That's how the new.
Don't get the body. Y'all want the body?
No, that's the Hebrew Hammer. Did you watch that fight?
No, what happened? Somebody pulled that out?
He pulled that out and
Came out like the
And the guy ran into the elbow.
the guy ran into the elbow.
He got stopped.
But he still won though. Like not the guy that ran into the elbow. The guy used the elbow.
Yeah, this is high.
The double guard, double cross guard.
He used it just like that. He's called the Hebrew Hammer from New York.
And the opponent ran into a gap, like big cut, was bleeding
It's
all
like
over.
this killer right hand, and he just comes in and he's like, waka.
Yeah, overhand,
Oh, man.
loopy right.
He put, what was the guy name that he put? He put him on. He's good. He's all right.
It was Roberto Garcia, same Roberto Garcia that Lucas Matisse fought, coming off of his loss, or
Old school style too. That Hebrew hammer. He was just like, home fight.
I miss old school style
I love that
stuff,
style.
man.
I love the style.
Like where people are just like, you know,
Coming in and
they just got something going on, you know, where there's some old school stuff, you know. It's like that old school, that Arturo Gotti lean, you know what I mean? That Arturo Gotti lean. You just put your face out there. You just put your face out there for him, you know. I feel like if you watch boxing, it definitely is changing more, you know. So many people are more aware
you see the transition
of boxing technique and how to really survive in this game a little bit more, you know.
I think defense is respected a lot more now than it was in the old days.
Yeah, before it was just like defense is called toughness.
Yeah.
Like, boom, 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 yeah, I got good defense. You tough, that's what you are. They didn't have defense, they had toughness, you know. Yeah, defense is important, man. I got a lot of little sayings, man. When I like to talk about boxing, you know, like
Thurmanisms.
just go to, you know, for people who are competing, they want to win and stuff. Maybe they had a hard time last match or whatever, you know. And it's just like, you know, protect yourself at all times. Number one rule of boxing. You know, protect yourself at all times. Be first is important, especially in amateur fights, right? Being first can be really important, you know. But then we got this old school trainer saying, which is be first and be last. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a little step above.
That means work
for
hard.
some kids.
That means throw a lot of punches.
Oh, what it means? All it means is I'm first, you're second, I'm third, we're done. That our transition is done. I'm first, you're second, I'm third. Now we're done, right? So I did 2 combos, you did 1. I did 4 combos, you did 2. I did 6 and you did 3. Who's winning?
That's strategic.
It's just strategic. It's just strategic. Like, you know what I mean? People,
like,
a lot of people, I know how to fight. I know all about fighting and boxing, but I know how to break down the numbers. I know how to break down the numbers and have that game plan. Train, you know, get fighters who are well trained. That's what happens. Certain coaches put people, they got these kids ready to react. Whoa, 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 pivot, whoa, whoa. And then other kids can't keep up with them. Their boys like, whoa, winner, next tournament, winner. He's an athlete and he's operating at a high pace, and people can't keep up with all of the diversity things and his ability is, you know. But I mean,
That's
what used to bother
It's
me.
kind of like what the Porters did and just mastered it.
They play the numbers game. Even when I beat Shawn, CompuBox said he landed 1 more power punch than me. Just 1 more power punch than me. You know what I mean? But what happens is when you're fighting for so many rounds, right? You can land more punches and lose the fight if you're landing like, let's say you land 15 punches and I landed freaking 2 in that round, right? In that round. So you landed way more than me, but the next round, I land 7 punches and you only land 3. So I win that round. You know what I mean? So, but ultimately you might have landed more punches, but round by round, in the way and manner and fashion I won the round, you weren't scoring on those rounds, and I scored obviously more than you, so they checked it off on me, you know. But I like Shawn, man. It was just a good fight, man. I mean, he made me dig to win. It wasn't a gimme, you know what I mean? And Danny, he just kind of let me float around. You know what I mean?
Sounds like that's what you want, the challenge.
Like I said, man, I like challenges, man. I'm an athlete, you know what I mean? I work so hard. You know, it's nice to see what the challenge is, you know what I mean? You know, when seeing Danny, I should have stopped moving. I should have done what I was doing in the beginning. I should have carried that at least a little bit further. I slowed down a little too soon. You know what I mean? Because I was pushing him back. I was doing certain things, and I don't really think Danny is that strong on his back foot. You know, he can shoulder roll and he can counter and do some things, but I don't really think boxing on his back foot. I think he does a lot better when he's forward stepping. You know, so both, man. That's why I would like them to fight each other, because it would build up the rematch better. No matter who wins, it would build up the rematch better. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I would fight both of them again. I'd fight both of them again.
Porters make it seem like Danny don't want any parts of them, but the
really
Porters make it seem like that about everybody. They said that about you.
Yeah, I don't really think. But to be honest, I kind of don't think Danny does want anything to do with Porter. If anything, not right now. You know what I mean? He just fought me and lost. Does he really want to fight Shawn Porter? You know what I mean? They don't have the confidence like that where, they're not trying to fight a real one in a real one. I mean, you're talking about the guy who fought Soka. Come on. Come on now. Come on. Know who you're talking about. You know what I mean? Know who you're talking about. Who did he fight before he fought me? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the one who actually knows how to take that tune-up, stay busy. He knows how to throw in those easy matches in between. So believe he's going to go for some lighter work. Well, he said Brandon Rios. I don't know if it's real.
Nah, there's been rumored. Nothing official yet.
Still rumors. It's a fight for him, and it gets him in, and it gets him his W. We're going to favor him. Everyone should favor him in that fight. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? They're going to want him to be in that situation. How many fighters really put themselves in a lose situation? How many times have we really witnessed that? Besides Shane Mosley versus Winky Wright, when he lost the first one, rematch, loses the second one. Without old school scenarios like that, where it's an instant double loss back to back. What about a Kell Brook?
Triple G then Errol Spence, was that a lose-lose situation?
Yeah, you're right. So Kell Brook is a real one. He took a real one, like me, real one. But he got the LL.
Yeah.
You give him full credit because remember his was a Mando.
No,
his was a Mando though.
I don't care. I give him full credit. Of course, I give him full credit. He took real one. You can wish your way out of. You can politically maneuver away from mandatories. Yeah.
Even IBF?
Not on him though.
Maybe
he had like 3
IBF.
extensions already.
I don't know the real rules, but there used to be an old school payout system. There used to be an old
like for the WBC, let's say.
Right now, there used to be a payout system. You used to be able to pay your mandatory to step
Oh
aside.
yeah. Step aside money. Yeah.
Step aside.
Deontay Wilder actually paid Bermain Stavern $600,000 so that he could fight Luis Ortiz, and then Luis Ortiz test positive.
Oh my gosh.
But now the WBC says Luis Ortiz is no longer suspended, and they're actually his ranking stands. So maybe we do get that fight. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's I don't.
Does that make you question the VADA program if they're letting repeat offenders get off with no suspension?
No suspension.
No suspension.
Well, again, he was taking blood pressure medicine.
They gave him a TOE, a retroactive therapeutic use exemption. So they allowed him to take that.
But he didn't submit the
retroactively.
form, so he didn't tell anyone. Listen, I'm on blood pressure for the last year.
No, you're supposed to tell. When you're on any kind of meds, you're supposed to tell people stuff. Yeah.
That's not a performing enhancing drug.
But it's
has
a
a
known
steroid
masking
in it. It
agent.
has
And a diuretic.
It's a known masking
Oh,
and
and
So it's not
diuretic.
like it enhanced it, but it could mask
Yeah,
it.
so
It
we
does
don't know
stuff.
if he helped
it. Does
it
stuff
helped
they
him.
don't want
It
us
does
to
stuff.
use.
It
Yeah,
does
it
stuff.
does stuff they don't want us to use.
It's something you take with something else.
Diuretics help you lose weight.
Yeah.
They don't want medical
And-
things.
and
But why does a heavyweight need to lose weight?
No, diuretics also help you mask. Also
Yeah.
help you mask steroids.
Oh.
So let's say
It's
take
a
anabolic
known
steroids
masking
and
agent.
you take diuretics, it flushes you out faster.
True. Yeah, see? We don't know that.
Because we all clean.
We woke up like this. We born ready. Right? We born ready. You know what I'm saying? We don't know about that game. You know what I mean? Yeah, woke up like this. You know? But, man. It's a funny sport, especially when you've been around it. The longer you've been around it, But, the funny thing is, it's fun. I've always never cared. Like, if you want steroids, I still want to fight you. Like, I still want to fight you. I still want to fight you. I don't know why. I just want to fight you. We said we was gonna fight, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine? Like, yo, we're gonna fight 4 o'clock. You know, after school, 4:30. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden it's like, old school. Then it's like, oh shit, you know, so and so been juicing. Well, then the fight's off, cuz. Fight's off. Nah, bro, I don't care. Yeah, I remember what you said about my mama, cuz. We going. I remember that. We going. You know what I mean? And for the money, like, why don't they just penalize them, like, for the kids who pop weed and shit? They still let them fight.
Well, because people feel like it's a combat sport. So if you're taking some sort of performance enhancement drug, the other opponent could be in danger.
You can't win the title, just like when you don't make weight, you can't win the title. I don't know why. I just want to fight you. I don't know if they told me, if my management team told me I'm fighting you and I've been hitting the heavy bag. Remember how Floyd used to put like faces all around and stuff? Like, if I got this stuff going on in my mind, I want to fight you. I don't care what you're taking. I'm ready. And then if you beat me, I got a great excuse.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, baby. You fucking up the money, boy. I mean, D was not getting paid for how many training camps, man? That's off. I'm pretty sure they tossed him some.
Well, he did sue Povetkin.
That's what I'm saying. That's right, I heard. I didn't hear about that one. You know?
Speaking of training camps, we train in Kendall Holtz.
I actually missed jumping, and I'm not jumping right now because I don't want that snap until the doctor says I'm good. I'm trying not to snap that frequently. I'm trying to do like lower snaps, just like extension, pushing, extension, and getting it used to that feeling of locking out. It's feeling a lot better. It is a little every week.
We train now in Jersey Boy Boxing Club, and Kendall Holt trains there. And obviously we always talk about you, and you know, I asked him, are you gonna come back? Is he gonna come back for camp? He was like, if you guys call him. But he's been actually sparring and staying in shape now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he enjoyed himself down here, man.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah, I had a rental car. He was out here. He was just chilling, man. Good weather. It was probably cold that time of the year. Yeah, it was. It was cold.
He gave you good work too.
Yeah, man. And the funny thing is, I didn't really think his style was so much like Danny's.
Really?
I did not. Maybe, you know, he fought Danny before. He knows Danny. Maybe he knew what he was doing before.
Well, he also favors the left hook.
In his sparring imitation, maybe he knew what he was doing before I knew what he was doing. Because at first I'm like, yo, I don't know what I think about this. Like, he's just loading up. Like, it was funny. Like, I could just see Kendall, and like, I'm about to throw like a 1-2, and all I just see him waiting, and then as soon as I'm about to engage, this hand just came like from here, just boom. He's just trying to hit me with a real one. I'm like, yeah, very nice, Kendall. I'm never letting you hit me with them shits. Never letting you hit me with them shits. He tried so many times. I kept watching. You know,
and he's a left hook thrower too, so he favors the left hook, and Danny's a left hook puncher.
Yeah,
so that was
but
good.
He had
sparring.
this like little counter he was doing in camp, and I just thought it was awkward. I'm like, you know, because he was countering so much, he wasn't giving me work. I wanted a little bit of work. You know, it wasn't really working. He was making me work, which I probably should have took advantage of a little bit more at the end of the day, looking back now. You know what I mean? But you know, you work a little bit more and more throughout the weeks because you're getting in shape to be at that peak, you know what I mean? And so I was better when I was closer to my peak, but I had to cut sparring short. If you ask Kendall, he'll even tell you, like, yeah, I just hung out for the end. He just hung out.
Because of the injury?
I was like, you know, I really can't use you, but I mean, I already paid him, you know what I mean? I said, you know, I haven't bought your ticket back. You can go back early, or you can just ride it out, and we'll have you work with some other people, because we had Twin on the undercard that night. Twin was on the undercard, so he just worked with some other people, and he got some work in, and yeah, then he went home, man. But yeah, it was good peeps, man, good work. But I was real surprised with that counter punching at first, but then Danny, I really never met somebody so committed to the counter punch, just so committed to it. Like he knows, like. Just imagine I actually had this conversation with my friend. I should tell him, you're just like Danny Garcia. I should let him know. Just know that with the type of fighter you are, you're Garcia. You know what I mean? Because I asked him. He was drunk the other day. We was at the bar, right? And he's just this big alpha. If you know what I'm talking about, he's just an alpha. You know what I mean? And he was talking to this other young black dude. My dude's like, maybe, I don't know if he's 40 already or not. I don't think he's 40, but I don't know. So I'm like, bro, everything's good, man. Don't stop talking to this dude. And he's like, and then once when they finally really stop, we go across the street. I go, look, Mike, are you ready? Like, I know you in people's face, but this dude's young, and we don't know where he come from, but I can tell, because my eyes, it don't take long, like, he's gonna punch you in your motherfucking face. He's gonna tee off on you, Mike. Are you ready to thump? He goes, yeah, I'm ready to thump. I'm like, you ready? And he's like, I'm drunk. I'm ready, you know? And I'm like, okay, Mike, but when you say you're ready, are you ready to go first? Or are you ready to thump second, right? Legitimate question, right? You ready to pop off first or second? How about he looks me in the eyes and he tells me, second.
So he's a reactor. He's a reactor.
You Danny Garcia, counterpunch motherfucker. Because that's what Danny is. Danny is that guy who is committed to going second. He don't work. He's not trying to be off first. Remember I said be first. It's a good thing. If you're trying to win a match, you should try to be first. But Danny, he's that B second. Nah, he just wants to hit you with that big counter, just like he hit
Amir Khan.
What? You know what I mean? Because he didn't hit Amir Khan with much till he landed that big counter. Nothing. He didn't set nothing up.
Did the power feel like he could stop? Pardon the left, Dan. Like when you felt the power, did it feel like, oh, if he catches it clean, maybe?
On one shot that hit my arm, it was heavy, and then that body shot was heavy. So like, yeah, you know, I mean, it's heavy, and there is, the one shot on my arm. I know if that hits a temple or the chin, that's a down you go kind of punch. You know what I mean? I mean, Shawn caught me with a temple shot that actually had me buzzed, similar to who else caught me with a temple shot that it had me buzzed, but I know nobody knew because it didn't react into my legs or nothing. You know, there was no reaction, but in my head there was a reaction. Diego Chavez caught me with a left hook right before he busted my nose. No, right after he just busted my nose. Then he follows up 15 seconds later. He catches me with a single left hook. It numbed. He hit me here. It numbed my big toe down here. Every single time I'm stepping, I can feel numbness in my big toe and a tingly, right? And then like 12 seconds later, no more tingly was there. And I just gave him this poker face the whole time. And I said, don't take another shot like that. Don't take another shot like that. You know what I mean? Same with Shawn. Once when I'm ringing like that, once when I know I got caught, I just think one thing, don't take another one like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, speaking of ringing, we were in Riggerdale's camp, and they do like this.
They spin. They literally like
spin for 3 minutes.
You already know.
And when the bell rings, they gotta shoot like, you know, some shadow boxing to simulate being hit with a punch.
I've heard people using such training mechanisms. I boxed for 21 years. I've been hit enough. I know how to take a punch. I've been there, done that, so I don't need to simulate that event. You know what I mean? And I do a lot of mental preparation. You know, I talk about this a little bit, but I do a lot of mental preparation. You know what I mean? And when I'm
like visualization.
Visualization. You know what I mean? When I'm really about to focus in on a fight, I focus in on the pros and the cons. You know what I mean? I'll put myself in a negative situation where I'm in the corner, visually. I'm in the corner, and this guy, he's putting his hands on me, right? He's doing everything. All of a sudden, he catches me. Boom! I'm rocked. If I'm buzzed, I've never been buzzed. Hard press.
I got it. I'll airdrop.
So, like, you know, eventually, when you've been in the sport so much, I say there's no surprises. The only, like, time a surprise happens is when someone sets off your timing. That way, you know, you got caught because for a second, you know, like, you know, if I do one of these like little juke and then I come up, like I juke down and they, you know, they react a certain way, and then I come up with a hook instead of coming. It look like I'm coming down, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? That's a little bit of a surprise, but for the most part, I mean, my eyes are vigilant of pump fakes and all that stuff too. You know what I mean? So for the most part, there's no real surprises because I've been doing this for 20-some years. All you have, to me, I break boxing down in angles. You only have two things. You have straight punches, other side. Straight punches, other side now. Boom. And then you have wide punches, round punches. And, for the most part, it's this and this, But you do have the uppers. But there's a lot of fights. You guys are boxing fans, you watch a lot of fights. The uppercut doesn't get utilized the most. It's hard to sneak in. You can't really use it from the outside all the time. You know what I mean? I like the left uppercut because I like every angle, and one of the angles that aren't used the most is this one, and this one is the lead hand. So I feel like you can use it more than, if I'm double jabbing, that knockout was double jab, boom, down here, So, you can always use the uppercut when you can use the uppercut, but, you don't see people really, it's a 1, 2, 3, not, yeah. You don't see a shadow boxing all the time, just, yeah. The uppercut, it's just that special angle. So I know, I'm moving backwards, right? But I'm moving backwards as long as there's distance, right? As long as there's distance, it's almost like poker. I've been in this game so long, I don't know the real numbers, but it's almost like poker, right? Like, if I have ace-king and you have king-queen, the odds are I'm supposed to win, right? There's like those percentages. When you watch the poker, they have all these percentages? Yeah. So to me, when there's a distance, when there's good distance, the percentage of him throwing a left hook is lower, right? You see what I'm saying?
Because he exposes himself.
I can break down boxing to the point to where it's going to be everything is based off of range. The majority of the outcome of shit is based off of range. You know what I mean? So if I'm like this, you know what I mean, and you start to feel comfortable, right? So when that tee off, whenever you want to tee off, you know what I mean? But he's most likely, and he chose a straight right, But that's fine. That's fine. So I was gonna say, okay, so let's do it again, right? So now he jabs, right? So, but the first one was a straight right. Statistically, when there's distance, and we're doing some work, when there's distance, whatever punch he's gonna lead with, a lot of times is gonna be the jab, right?
So the percentage
Unless
is high.
It's a little higher on the jab side, but if he's eager to land power, you know what I mean? And if he has a good right hand, he might, you're a fighting right hand fighter, some are really known for their right hand. You know what I'm saying? But the jab comes out a little bit more often from the outside. The real power punch that most likely that he would lead with from the outside is the right hand. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, it's easier to see from the outside. He might lead with the left hook, but it's less common because it's going to be a big leaping punch.
And exposing himself.
He's exposed, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit less common, right? Another
jab
thing,
off. You got to hook off the jab.
Let's say I'm going this way, right? I'm going this way. Now I'm going this way, right? But as I'm going this way, right? Like, I don't care, cut off the ring, right? So watch this, right? Watch this. This is something I like to show people. First off, you would never do that, so please don't do that. Okay?
Okay, too close?
No. Yeah. Like, watch. You go around the ring, right? Even if I cut off the ring, right? I'm gonna cut off the ring, right? This is me cutting off exactly. And go, right? And go, right? See, this is kind of like me staying with you, see, so I can get to you, right? But go, you wouldn't do this because that's how James Jacobs got dropped after he dropped Mora, right? And he stayed in Jacobs' face, and boom, he got dropped, right? So you really don't, you normally don't really chase someone and stay in their face unless if it's a little different, and you're like Porter, and you're already here on them as you're going, and I can I keep pushing you. If my hands are already on you and you're trying to go, and I can stay with you with my legs, and I can stay down here, you know, then I can kind of rush with you. But most likely what you'll do, because that ain't fun, right? Most likely what you'll do is you'll stop and you'll hold my ass. Stop and hold. Stop and hold. Yeah, you know, then you just stop, you know, because it ain't like you want to do that all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just cut that out.
But the funny thing is, right, so for me, a lot has to do with angles, right? So in my mind, right, whenever a fighter is moving this way, no, I'm moving that way, you know? Whenever a fighter's moving that way, right, I think, you know, obviously, throw a hook, throw a big hook. I'm moving that way. I'm moving out. I'm moving away. Your hook's coming this way, throw your hook. Your hook's coming this way, but every step, I'm stepping to the left. So even if I'm just stepping to the left, you're most likely not going to lead with a left hook. And if you do, it's fine. I'm already going away from it anyway.
So maybe a
You know
jab.
what I mean? Even then, jab hook. But I've been moving this way. You know what I mean? So what you would do to get the most out of it is you might, you know, double jab. So I'm moving this way, double jab. I'm moving this way, double jab, right hook. Boom. You know what I mean? Double jab, right hook. And I'm moving, boom. I'm moving into it, you know? Boom, to the body. Boom. Just touch, overhand. Yeah, you know? See? I'm moving into it. You know what I mean? So when if I'm moving to the right, you don't have to cut, because then, you know, you try to follow me, then I'll just switch sides, blah, blah, blah. I ain't worried about that, you know? But now don't worry about that. Just watch where I go.
Okay.
Watch where I go, right? If I'm circling exactly, right? I'm circling, right? Now, this is that time where people like to throw the right cross. They don't mind. They don't mind, you know, people don't really mind when they're going to the right. They'll reach across for that right. You know, they'll reach across. But the more uppity they go, like the more like curved and stuff, you know, the more curved and stuff. And I'm going, you know what I mean? It's short, but if they stay straight, you know, they might get those crosses when people are, you know what I mean? They might be able to get them.
Down. So it'll happen a little bit?
Yeah, you know, see, you know, you duck down, you know, you know, you can get caught there, but really go, you know, you go this way. So you're coming into the left hook. You're coming into the left hook. You know, so when I'm moving around the ring, if I'm moving this way, I'm only worried about right hand, left hook. You might want to reach across, right? You might want to reach across, but now because I'm moving this way, eventually, when you've been in the sport so much, I say there's no surprises. The only time a surprise happens is when someone sets off your timing. That way, you know, you got caught because for a second, you know, yeah, like, you know, if I do one of these little juke and then I come up, like I juke down and they, you know, they react a certain way and then I come up with a hook instead of coming. It look like I'm coming down, you know, whoa, whoa, you know what I mean? That's a little bit of a surprise, but for the most part, I mean, my eyes are vigilant of pump fakes and all that stuff too. You know what I mean? So for the most part, there's no real surprises because I've been doing this for 20-some years. You know, all you have, to me, I break boxing down in angles. You only have two things. You have straight punches, you know, other side. Straight punches, other side now. Boom, and then you have wide punches, you know, round punches. And, you know, for the most part, it's this and this, you know. But you do have the uppers. You know. But there's a lot of fights. You guys are boxing fans, you watch a lot of fights. The uppercut doesn't get utilized the most. It's hard to sneak in. You can't really use it from the outside all the time. You know what I mean? I like the left uppercut because I like every angle, and one of the angles that aren't used the most is this one, and this one is the lead hand. So I feel like you can use it more than, you know, I mean, if I'm double jabbing, you know, that knockout was double jab, boom, down here, you know. So, you know, you can always use the uppercut when you can use the uppercut, but, you know, you don't see people really, you know, it's a 1, 2, 3, not You don't see her shadow boxing all the time. Just, you know, I mean, the uppercut, you know, it's just that special angle. So, like, so I know, like, I'm moving backwards, right? But I'm moving backwards as long as there's distance, right? As long as there's distance, it's almost like poker. I've been in this game so long, I don't know the real numbers, but it's almost like poker, right? Like, if I have ace-king and you have king-queen, the odds are I'm supposed to win, right? There's like those percentages. You know when you watch the poker, they have all those percentages? Yeah. So to me, when there's a distance, when there's good distance, the percentage of him throwing a left hook is lower, right? See what I'm saying?
Because it exposes himself.
Like, I can break down boxing to the point to where it's going to be a whole, everything is based off of range. The majority of the outcome of shit is based off of range. You know what I mean? So if I'm like this, you know what I mean, and you're starting to feel comfortable, right? So when that tee off, whenever you want to tee off, you know what I mean? But he's most likely, and he chose a straight right, you know?
You don't
but that's fine. That's fine. So I was gonna say, okay, so let's do it again, right? Let's do it again, right? So now he jabs, right? So, but the first one was a straight right. Statistically, when there's distance, and we're doing some work, you know what I mean? When there's distance, whatever punch he's gonna lead with, a lot of times is gonna be the jab, right?
So the percentage is
Unless
higher.
it's a little higher on the jab side, but if he's eager to land power, you know what I mean? And if he has a good right hand, he might, you know, you're a right hand fighter, some are really known for their right hands. You know what I'm saying? But the jab comes out a little bit more often from the outside. The real power punch that most likely that he would lead with from the outside is the right hand, you know what I mean? And every once in a while, it's easier to see from the outside, he might lead with the left hook, but it's less common because it's gonna be a big leaping punch.
And
it's less, he's exposed, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit less common, right? Another thing, let's say I'm going this way, right? I'm going this way, now I'm going this way, right? But as I'm going this way, right, like I'm gonna cut off the ring, right? So watch this, right? Watch this. This is something I like to show people. First off, you would never do that, so please don't do that. Okay?
Get too close?
No. Yeah. Like watch. You go around the ring, right? Even if I cut off the ring, right? I'm gonna cut off the ring, right? This is me cutting off exactly. And go, right? And go, right? Right? See? So this is kind of like me staying with you, see, so I can get to you, right? But go, you know, you want to do this because that's how Danny Jacobs got dropped after he dropped Mora, right? Mm-hmm. And he stayed in Jacobs' face and boom, he got dropped, right? So you really don't, you don't
You're chasing.
You normally don't really chase someone and stay in their face unless if it's a little different and you're like quarters and you're already here on them as you're going. And I already can keep. I can keep pushing it. If my hands are already on you and you're trying to go, and I can stay with you with my legs, and I can stay down here. You know, then I can kind of rush with you. But most likely, what you'll do, because that ain't fun, right? Most likely what you'll do is you'll stop and you'll hold my ass. Stop and hold. Stop and hold. Yeah, you know, then you just stop, you know. It ain't like you want to do that all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just got that out.
But the funny thing is, right, so for me, a lot has to do with angles, right? So in my mind, right, whenever a fighter is moving this way, no, I'm moving that way, you know? Whenever a fighter is moving that way, right, I think, you know, obviously, throw a hook, throw a big hook. I'm moving that way. I'm moving out. I'm moving away. Your hook's coming this way. Throw your hook. Your hook's coming this way. But every step, I'm stepping to the left. So even if I'm just stepping to the left, you're most likely not going to lead with a left hook. And if you do, it's fine. I'm already going away from it anyway.
So it'd be a jab.
You know what I mean? Even then, jab hook. But I've been moving this way. You know what I mean? So what you would do to get the most out of it is you might, you know, double jab. So I'm moving this way, double jab. I'm moving this way, double jab, right hook. boom. You know what I mean? Double jab right hook. See, I'm moving, boom, I'm moving into it, you know? Boom, to the body. Boom. Just touch, over hand. Yeah, you know? See? I'm moving into it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when I'm moving, if I'm moving to the right, you don't have to cut it, because then, you know, you try to follow me, then I'll just switch sides, blah, blah, blah. I ain't worried about that, you know? But now don't worry about that. Just watch where I go. Okay. Watch where I go, right? If I'm circling exactly, right? I'm circling, right? Now, this is that time where people like to throw the right cross. They don't mind. They don't mind, you know, people don't really mind when they're going to the right. They'll reach across for that, right? You know, they'll reach across. But the more uppity they go, like the more, like curved and stuff, you know, the more curved and stuff.
Like Madonna style.
And I'm going, you know what I mean? It's short. But if they stay straight, you know, they might get those crosses when people are, you know what I mean? They might be able to get them.
Down. So what happened to moving?
Yeah, you know, see, you know, you duck down, you know, you know, you can get caught there, but really going on to the left, you know, you go this way, so you're coming into the left hook. You're coming into the left hook. You know, so when I'm moving around the ring, if I'm moving this way, I'm only worried about right hand, left hook. Because you might want to reach across, right? You might want to reach across, but now because I'm moving this way, you can get. I'm coming into this damage because you're walking the power punch. Yeah, you might reach across. You know, even if you just go like a 1, 2, 3. You know, 1, 2, 3. See, if I'm walking this way, you throw the throw the right cross. See, you throw the cross across your body. Cross, so I'm moving this way, you're gonna aim, and then you come out with the left hook.
Boom, that info. I heard you was in the camp.
Boom, you know? Moving into it, right? If I'm moving this way and you throw 1, 2, 3. See? That hook becomes nothing. 1, 2, that hook becomes out of the way, right? That's why I said when someone's moving this way, jab, right? You know? So to me, when people aren't even smart enough to throw the punch that is what I call the collision punch.
But you were supposed to fight
the collision punch.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You know, fighters move this way, you throw the punch into them. This is what I tell amateurs, right? I don't throw. When people are like, you know, you're the champ, what's going on, Keith? Sometimes they ask me, like, what's going on in your head? Like, nothing. Nothing. I'm not thinking nothing. I'm aware and I'm ready for everything. Distance-wise, I naturally know from the outside we're going to play this poke game until we get a little closer. Then I might throw some power. And if you're standing there taking this power, I might be in position for a hook. If you back up and you don't take the power, then where's my hook? My hook now is a leading, is a jumping, you know, event. You know, distance is a big thing, you know? I mean, you can't, like, because he's with Eddie. Like, even Chisora would be good. You just touch my chest. Just really Chisora would be good. Just touch my chest. Yeah, just touch. Yeah, you touch. You know? You gotta keep winning. You know? So you gotta keep winning. See? So he's actually touching. But it's fingertips. Yeah, right? Reach fingertips. He's reaching. So that's because what I'm doing is I know distance very well, right? So what I'm doing is I'm keeping myself when you come. I'm keeping myself on that edge of his jab. So even if the jab was to land, it's only at the edge. It's not like do it now. It's not like that. He's not gonna boom get me with a jab. You know what I mean? It's just grazing. You know, and fighters know that too, you know, so from a lot, you know, with the right distance, it's hard to do, to get these hooks out unless they're going to be wide, you know, or you might have to do something where you step in before you hook, you know, but my eyes, I'm looking, you know, like for me, it's 50-50. It's almost, or 25-25-25. For the most part, you're most likely coming straight. You know what I mean? But then the question is, straight punches is like this, you know? Wop, wop, straight. Hooks, circular. Shoulders open up. You know what I mean? Shoulders open up, you know? And like I said, if I'm moving this way, there's no, go ahead, slap it. Yeah. There's no point, if I'm moving this way, there's no real point in throwing that left hook. But if you're throwing the right hook, then you're doing collision punching. You're being smart enough to just throw the punch I'm walking into. You know what I mean? Boom. So in case if it happened, you know. But this is what I like to tell basic people, a lot of amateurs, you really got to focus on collision punching, body head. Bomb, bomb. If they're moving in this direction, double jab. Bomb, bomb. And they're moving in this direction, boom. You aim the power punch in the direction your opponent's already moving in. You don't have to think about no crazy combo. Just let that impact. He's moving this way, so I saw if I'm moving this way, this hand, no, this hand, hook. Yeah. You know, I'm moving away. There's no point. Collision punching is the most devastating, you know? Here. You know? Body. That's I'm going this way, see? Then see? And then if I'm going to the right, you go to my body. If I stop, now you can throw the left hook. Boom. See? But if I'm moving this way, you throw the left hook first. No, I'm moving this way, you throw the left hook first to the body. You know, like you throw, and then to the head. See? Like, and I'm already going around you. See? See? You know? It's just a little bit off. You catch me, you walk that way, you know? Boom, boom. You catch him, boom. He's walking in there, he stops, he takes that. Now he stopped. Boom, now the left hook. If he's been moving that way, you don't want the left hook. You just go around. You can get around me, not out. Okay. Like around, short, boom.
I seen
you know? Sometimes, you know, if they're moving slowly, right? They're moving slowly, like just, yeah. They're moving slowly that way, you know, sometimes you can, boom, get that left hook. They're just moving like this, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can still, they're moving in that direction, they're moving away, but they're not moving away at a fast enough rate or anything. For somebody who gets real circular, gets real boxy like me, you know, I feel like I can't be trapped. Because my thing is, even I love collision punching. It's how I set up all my combos, right? It's how I set up all my combos. If you know you coming straight with a jab, you know you coming straight with a jab, wow, boom, you're coming into me. So the collision punch is the straight right hand. See, so it doesn't matter if it's forward, backwards, or side to side. It's all about that collision. You know,
Magnifies the power.
Yeah, it magnifies the power. You know, but. That's why I like whatever the movement is, tells me how to set up my combos. If you're moving to the right, if you're moving to the left, if backward, you duck down like this, you know what I'm saying? The more of a habit you have, if I can pick up on it, I might be able to utilize something about your habit.
So it's just analyzing this fight round by round when you're fighting out there. You just
I just do everything off of movement, reach, speed, movement, and the foot. You know what I mean? The foot, because I can't touch you, right? Unless if I wanted to lean my chin forward, right? I can't touch you unless if my foot
toe to toe
is like 2 inches in front of your foot. I know my distance, see I can touch him. See, look, I stepped there and I told him I could touch him, right? If I put my foot here, I can touch you. Boom, 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 boom. You know, if we're toe to toe, I can throw all uppercuts and hooks. I can throw inside uppercuts, inside punching. If I'm toe to toe, this is inside zone. If I'm here, I can touch you. I can touch you. If I'm outside of here, the only way I can touch you outside of my jab zone, a little outside of my jab zone, is to lean forward, get on my front foot, and I can hit you with the right hand. Because everybody knows that the jab is in the back. The right hand, when it gets thrown, it goes a little past it because your center comes up. Like how golfers, when they're done, they're in front. When you're done with your right hand, you're in front now. So you know them old school knockouts? Old school knockouts when they're like doing this little jab, they're just jabbing, and they're not even touching them yet. And then they just with that big right hand.
Big right hand. That's that dude, the Jewish Hammer did this last fight, bro. He was just
Hebrew Hammer.
And it was funny because he was watching one of the old school guys. When he let that right hand loose, bro, this guy's head looked like it blew up. Like, boom. What round did he take him out at?
Fourth or fifth?
Fourth round. Because I never heard of this guy. Never
Yeah, man. So is funny. Like I said, amateur, they go this way, boom, 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 collision. You're going this way, 1, 2, 3. You're going into that last power punch, you know? So let's say, so when you're boxing, right, you're moving this way, right? Remember, I said they might want to reach across with this one, right? But then you got to watch out for that hook, right? But let's say you're going this way, right? And this dude, he's got that distance, but now he just steps here and he's about to unleash that big hook, you know? So you just go that way and you just roll. Wow.
Oh, I see you do that too.
I know you see me do it.
I know you see me.
I know you see me do it.
No, but
Now you see me do that. See? Real technique.
That's
you know what I
crazy.
mean? Because if you're smart, you're gonna try to set up this collision punching. It's the most effective punching. I've been doing it since I was 13 years old. I even practiced it on the heavy bag. If you wanna practice collision punching, all you gotta do is move the heavy bag like this. Tell the boy to time it, step up and throw the left hook at the right time, you know? So, you know, ha, as it's coming down, ha, right when it hits center, you should be making that contact. You can do the same thing with the right. Obviously, I'm not gonna do it as hard, boom. You can do the same thing with the right, boom. It's just collision. This is just a visual, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what happens is when I throw a combo, and I want to practice collision punching, the thing is you throw the 1-2 while it's in its upswing, and you throw the power
On the downswing.
while it's on the downswing. You see? Collision punching. You know what I mean? By vision, pop, pop, pop. You know? Remember we said, see? Jab, jab, right hook. Jab, jab, right hook, left hook. See? Unleash your combo, but in the combo, get a collision effect, then finish off your combo. Boom, boom, collision effect, pop, 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 then finish off your combo. Back out, boom, boom, jab. You know what I mean? It's moving forward and backwards. Your collision is, you know, you can just
That's center,
pop, just the jab real simple, or hop, boom, time that right hand. Hop, boom, time that right hand. It's coming at you, you know? This guy, he's, hop, boom, on that way in. So I do this. This is actually my bag work. This has been my bag work drill since I was 13 years old. Once when my coach used to actually make the bag swing like this, and then he actually marked the ground. Step here, step here. He used to mark the ground. Step here, get down. Step here, power hook. That's how we practiced. And then he would swing it again. All right, do it again.
Damn.
You know. You know, it's just a timing thing, you know. But you get used to this, right? And then you bring it into your sparring. Once when the kid's walking that way, jab, jab, right hook. I'm not throwing the power punch I want to throw. I throw the power punch you move into.
Least resistance.
Yeah, I mean,
It's coming.
You're coming in. It's like he's walking this way, so you shut the door. He's walking, so you shut the door. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Why shut? You shutting the door, but he wasn't even trying to get in. He was going that way. He was going out this way. Now you got to shut that door on him. He's going this way. You shut that door on him. Yeah. Shut the door, man. Shut the door. You know?
What's that Thurmanism?
So the slip though is like, it's funny because technique layers itself, right? So first you practice the collision punching, right? But if you when you practice offensive, right, you got to think defensive too. So that's what I was saying. When you're good, I'm moving this way. You throw the left hook. You know, I'm moving into it. Don't you worry about it. You just step. Yeah, you step and make me, you know, boom. You know what I mean? Double jab right. Boom. You know, double jab right. Block. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If the angle I'm coming in body. You know, boom. You know. So as you get used to it, you slip naturally, right? You slip, you prevent that collision, right? He's smart enough to try to get the collision, and you read it enough to get out of the collision. This is where boxing becomes like chess. You know, you're reading these movements. You notice I'm moving here. You notice I'm moving here. You double jab. I notice your shoulders cocked back during your double jab, so I know you're about to unleash it. Then when you do, I don't let it come. But you were smart enough to get the collision, and I was smart enough to evade the collision, even though I'm still moving in the collision, into the collision. So sometimes you'll find yourself in boxing moving towards the punch, even while you're trying to escape from the punch. That's why trainers will tell you don't be afraid of the punch.
Because you could actually discalibrate the other person's balance by making them miss so hard, I guess, right?
But
And that opens up counters.
If you really don't want them to slip, you throw it to the bottom.
Ah, because the body
They got
can't move that much.
You throw it to the bottom. Yeah. But we know everybody loves the head hunt.
What?
Head hunt. Call of Duty, baby. Boots, headshot, boy. Got you. Got the highlights. Yeah, you know? So, what else is it? If you slipping. So then the funny thing is normally, right, when you're inexperienced and someone puts that body shot on you, boom, you're going to stop. Right? You're going to stop.
Yeah.
Then that allows them to throw more combos. Boom and boom. Okay? It allows them to finish off a combo, right? But let's say you finally cut me off in the corner. You're going to double jab right hook me, right? But I don't want to be here for the rest of the combo, right?
Yeah.
What
You
am I
just want
supposed
to take
to
that impact and you want to get out of there.
What am I supposed to do?
Hit you right here.
And what am I supposed to do?
Go back.
I'm on the ropes.
Go the other way.
Take the impact and
Go
slip.
which way? This way?
Nah, because
The way his hook's about to
Yeah, because the
come?
next punch.
Well, if
comes
you're
from
reading
this
it,
side.
can you slip that hook?
I can. You're right. So if I am reading it,
you
Yeah.
slip
and I'm
under that
stopping,
one.
I can start my motion here.
Yeah,
If
and
I
then-
am reading
yeah.
it, right?
Now,
But
if you don't.
But if I don't even want to deal with that punch, double jab, right hook. What happens is I take this block, but I do what's called I push through it, and then I run through it, right? So like watch, like you just move this way, right, and just right. So move this way, you know. But as this is about to hit you, say I'm going through it. I don't care, right? So
So it's like
just
bum rush
go
the punch.
through it. Yeah, I'm taking off my arm. No, yeah, you go through it, right? So here, watch, double jab. See, so where's that left hook now? Now I bounce.
It doesn't matter.
You took away my combination.
And I'll show you if I'm in the ring, right? Because like I said, sometimes what will happen is, right, I'm walking this way. You're slowly cutting the ring off, right? No, you already got me pretty much. We're almost here, right? So you slowly cut the ring off. So now I'm still walking. You're like, fuck that. I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna stop him with this left hook. He's gonna stop and I have him in the corner, right? So you step up. No, step up first. You're like punching. Yeah, step up. There you go. Boom, and I push through that. See? You ain't gonna stop me from getting my roto. If I want to be on a different side of you, I'll be on a different side of you. Because think about it. If you want to throw the combo, right? So just like I did, right? Like touch, right? After you touch me with the left hook, just go ahead and just touch me with the rest of the combo. Where's the rest of the combo?
You got me reaching.
Where's the rest of the combo? It's not there because you want to do this, then you want to do this, which means you want me here. So if you do this, and then as this is coming out, I'm already here now. Where's that? Because I'm pushing through it, right? So, we can do it from the right side, But if I still go, the combo's not there. Because if I stay, then you just come back with the left, boom, exactly. You just rotate. But as long as I don't stay, go left, go left and then go right. Do it nice and smooth. Right. Double jab, right, left. I'm coming this way. Yeah, let's do double jab, right, left.
That's what you see. That what is happening.
Where's that? See? So I can
My hands open. Imagine my hands
I can get through.
That way all
I'm getting through, right? Left side. But where's the right punch? Left and right.
You ain't come with none of that. But now he's still out the way. That's all he's doing. Slide.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable if you don't stay still. I can't hit you.
Like
That's why you got a box
going
like you
into
fuck.
it. See? And then
I would have to
and then
grab
there's
That's
nothing.
right.
You don't have a combo. You don't have a combo.
You
But
gotta have
if
a
you
combo.
go and as you commit and I stop, I freeze,
You give
your
me
combo's
my hand.
there.
That's where you're supposed to come.
Combo's there. So that's why I have so much confidence because I control my
That's
feet
what you
and
did.
I'm your
That's
target.
what you
So when I'm moving like this and I'm moving like this.
Hey,
If
jumping
you
around
want to
like
double
that
jab
is
right,
hard to hit him.
double jab here,
It's hard.
woo, slip, you know what I mean? Then I'm back over here, you know, and I push down.
You can get a
I mean, I'm not gonna stop for you. I'm not gonna stop for you. I'm
That's
just
what
gonna
really
let you be in here. The only fighter I ever stopped for was Shawn Porter. I stopped for him. You know what I mean? But if I don't want to stop, I'm not stopping.
That's
You control it.
I control me. This is me in the ring. So if I want to be here, I'm here. If I want to fucking move, I move. Fighters forget to move. Fighters forget to stay calm and just understand that if you're bouncing and someone's coming at you in an attack, especially the more they come at you straight, boom, they have to adjust. See, whenever someone goes around, the straight guy, he has to adjust eventually. This is around, you know, he has to adjust, you know. So I mean, from head to toe, I just understand the game, baby. From head to toe.
I'm using all of that. You hear me, Coach Mitty, man? I'm using all of that.
Collision.
You get late.
You need to make weight.
I'm gonna make the
Then make weight, son.
make weight, man.
All the sight in the game, cause see the boxing voice.